Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Elendor Chronicles, brought to you by the Component Cast. Before we get on with tonight's broadcast, we have a few things that we need to cover. First of all, hello, we're back. Sorry for all the pauses recently. I was expecting for us to be back last week, but I needed a week, friends. I needed a week. I was not in the frame of mind to DM. But you know, we are back. We're happy to be back, and we've got all new content coming very shortly. And speaking of new content, there might be a new show on the air tomorrow, at least for a little whilst Lancer takes a little bit of downtime. There's going to be a new fan favorite show returning with a DM that you might have seen once or twice on the broadcast, but it's going to be a lot of fun, so go check that out as well tomorrow at the normal Tuesday crew time. Before we also get on, if you want to support this broadcast, you can do so by becoming one of our amazing Twitch subs or by one of our patrons. Patreon gives us the biggest slice of the pie and helps us continue to create these awesome broadcasts. Right. It's been a while. Without further ado, let's get on with tonight's broadcast, shall we? We are back. So, I'm going to do a recap, and then, of course, I'm going to give you the chance to grab your inspiration die for the session, gang. But last we left off, our adventurers were amidst a mystery of interplenium making. After tracking down the source of a rampaging plague throughout the Narderfell, all the way to one of the layers of the Abyss, our team uncovered a Nullian plot to destabilize the realm and place a proxy on the throne, after capturing an assassin and utilizing the Legend Lore spell. They took the information to the High King, who promptly locked down the castle with everyone of note inside, including the possible traitors, and set the Skyfire Adventuring Company to the task of finding those traitors. The investigation thus far has been very fruitful, narrowly missing catching the culprit a couple of times, feeling only just centimeters behind them every time a new clue is found. Breton discovered a secret message locked in a bar of simmer bronze after quenching it in the Crown Smithy. A smuggled cask of poison was also discovered, which was then quickly utilized by the perpetrators in an attempted assassination of the heir-elect and the successful murder of 3 members of staff found in a broom closet. You'd utilized a few of your allies recently, allying with the Queen of Havarray and, of course, fan favorite, long-time friend of the show, King of Offray, and his pal, the Angel Alistair, utilizing their particular skills in order to help with the investigation, but that had become less fruitful than your own searches. You also discovered some tunnels, which led all around the castle and including to a secret dockyard beneath the citadel. The full extent of the tunnels isn't completely under your knowledge, but you do feel like it goes to all of the major locations within the citadel. But we left off with a shocking revelation. The Queen Consort had gone missing. Now, before we continue into tonight's broadcast, I have to ask you a question, and this is a current investigation-related question, which is, you found out the full code name of the head traitor. What is it, and what does it mean? –
Peregrinius.
There you go.
Is the
Yeah, it's a draconian or.
He is the arch dipshit, and
Arch dipshit is a great thing for enemy. Great term for enemy right there. I'm
Lord of Darkness.
Lord of Darkness.
nerd.
But what did Peregrinius mean? It's the same as what it means in Latin, if you know your Latin.
Yeah, hold on. Just let me brush off my old dead language skills.
Oh, clearly it's got something to do with Peregrine Took. Fool?
I don't remember us talking about the definition of Peregrinius. I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember it either.
I don't either.
So, I think I did mention. So, Peregrinius, it kind of means, in Draconic or translations of Latin, like pilgrim or wanderer.
Doesn't ring a bell at all.
No.
Okay. I watched back the video, so it's definitely there.
Sure.
That's also it's on us then. Yeah, this happens.
I have 4 hours of content to memorize and keep stored for 2 weeks. You're lucky if I can remember my name.
Who are you? But yes. So
Can't wait to get
Ruby
more Pathfinder. That's what we're playing, right?
Ruby.
Ruby
and Valymr, you have just been pulled aside and told that the Queen Consort is missing. She was in her chamber and nobody can now find her. Breton is currently standing guard over some bodies he's found. We're going to quickly return to Ruby and Valymr first, purely because you have the hot topic information. What would you like to do?
Ruby's going to cast Sending
To
to the
okay.
Queen Consort.
Sending. Okay. Trying to think if you've met. You probably would have, even so, as a noble, so that works. Okay.
Was she also not in the great meeting of everybody, or like in the hall when everybody was there? When we all got together?
No, because she's not part of the council. You've met all of the council then. Just 2 seconds. Can you? Sure. Can you roll me a D100, please?
Ooh.
They've taken her to an abyss.
That's a 96. Good or bad, I don't know.
I would have been so much happier if you just rolled a 50, because nothing fucks with a 50.
Nothing fucks with a 50. That needs to be a t-shirt. If I ever heard a phrase that needed to be on a t-shirt, that is one. Okay. What are you sending?
My lady, this is Anrayne Sunderstar. I am working with your husband. Are you safe? Are you well? Where can I find you?
You feel the message was received, but you get no response.
As in, dead? Like, is I call the line and I get a beep?
No, you.
I mean, if she was dead, the message would not have been received.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, depends on how we're just finding sending can go to other planes of existence. Depends if it can go.
So, as I've understood, once a creature has died, it is no longer a creature. Its soul does not count.
Yes, yeah, that
But
would be.
it does traverse planes.
It does traverse planes. Yes.
As long as you don't hit a 5% failure rate. Which is why I said nothing fucks with 50.
Do I need to roll the D100 again to see if I get that 5% failure rate?
You already did.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. 5% the wrong way. Okay, yeah, sure. Not 0 to 5, but okay.
It depends on what the DM decided.
You don't know. But no, you don't. You feel like an entity received the message.
Okay. She'll frown. She got the message, but I haven't gotten a response. Oh, what I'd kill to have soul and scrying. Scrying!
Magister's Lab.
Magic lab.
Yeah.
He's in the room with you.
She'll look at him.
He's part of the council.
Scry. When you describe her, she'll look at her non-existent watch, like, right meow.
He like crosses his hands, and an illusory green smoke just, and in front of him, like a full-on levitating bowl of like filled water appears. It's like an opalescent green bowl that is just, and you see his eyes roll back, and he begins to scry.
In that time, she's going to cast Sending again, this time to Breton.
Sure.
Queen Consort is missing. We are with the Lord High Mage in location.
You were just in council. You were just grilling everybody to see if they lied in front of you, I think.
Yeah. We're trying to scry on her now.
But not everyone was told of the situation yet. But the High King does announce it to everyone in the end.
I am burning through my third level spell slots, but that's okay. I have them. Whoa, what the heck? They changed the way spells look on here.
Oh, that looks weird. Oh, I get what they're going for. Anyways.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Breton, I'm going to get you to roll these. Can you roll me 4d10, please? Tell me
Remember,
what they are.
50 is good.
6815.
6815. So 20?
Yes.
Ruby and Valymr, you see the High Magister get thrown from his scrying bowl. Like the bowl uplifts and spills, actually stops levitating, crashes everywhere, water gets thrown, and he gets thrown backwards, hitting straight into the table in the center of this council chamber. It's bang, and he's fully forced back with a blast.
Valymr, check him, and she's gonna go to the bowl.
Yeah. I'll go see if he needs any healing.
He does get up, and he's he's been winded, and there was a bit of a crack to his spine when he hits the board. But he's a powerful caster. Even though he is wizard related, he's not level 2 wizard related.
Right.
That's scrying. God, I hope not.
Yeah.
I'll throw 5 points of healing into him.
So to respond to Ruby sending, because I haven't gotten the opportunity to do that yet, we've been infiltrated. 2 servants, 1 chef found dead inside of the Royal Armory. They're definitely using the secret tunnels.
There is no reply because she can't, but got it. Can Ruby look in that bowl?
Sure. The bowl is now empty. The water went all over the floor. It's kind of scorch marked, like where the water was. Either it quickly evaporated or heated up or something. But it's other than that, it's an empty scrying bowl.
Yeah, she'll cast Detect Magic.
Detect Magic, okay.
And see if she can find some sort of resonance of what happened.
Sure. You get the impression that the location that the individual tried to scry on was heavily warded in some way. And it in return cast a spell back. It was it felt eldritch, kind of in power. There seemed to be mainly schools of magic. It would be evocation, but it was in terms of the damage, but it was one of those things of not psychic, but otherworldly. I'm trying to describe force damage.
No, I got it. He was repulsed.
Yes.
Pretty severely.
Yes. And he failed his Constitution saving throw for that.
That spell that you used before, where you got a yes or no response, the one that we used to get all the information, is there any way that we can use that kind of thing? I can't remember what it's called.
Legend.
Augury.
The one I mentioned in the intro of this session.
Yeah, that one there.
Augury?
Is that augury? Is it possible to use that to ask or to find out if she is still on this plane?
I think she's on the plane. I think she's close. I think she's secured.
Getting a location would be kind of paramount.
Sir, are you all right? And she'll pat down the Lord
Yeah.
High Mage.
Oh, he's fine. He's like, Zedaar, yes. He stands up, he like kind of rubs his shaved head, re-straighten his beard, and just is like, was not expecting that.
Did you see anything?
I saw scrying the shapes of my magic, my control, an extraplanar form of myself, and then a reflection of me, and then boom, shot back out.
I don't know scrying. When you cast it, did it give you the impression that you were traveling far away or close, or no real way to know?
I'll let him make an Arcana check on that. He's got very good Arcana, so glad he's got very good Arcana.
It's a handy skill to have. Wish my wizards had good Arcana.
I felt as though I didn't feel like I went far, but something elongated my connection to the location. Like I was thrown into a maze.
I'll give Ruby a glance and then look down.
She'll nod. Maybe.
Whereabouts was the queen last seen? Was she like? Do we know where she may have been snatched from?
Yeah, sure. The Perker and Hamo, who came in with the information, pipes up. She was getting ready in her chambers. She was meant to be having dinner with the High King right after this.
So we know she wasn't teleported out. She had to have been taken out of the castle, probably through the tunnels. They didn't take the boat because that's alarmed. If anybody went there, I'd have known about it. So they must have kept going. They can't walk out through the front door. Are there any other... She'll look directly at Lord Hamage. Are there any other exits in this castle? I need to know before I go running.
There are not any exits that anyone could cross without my knowing. Put it that way.
A little red flag goes up in the back of her head for now, but that'll come back later.
He was like, I have them. And it's like, you see everyone else that knows about some of the other exits kind of look at him and he's just like, I have them alarmed.
Okay. This may be a lot to ask, but can you keep trying? Or is that your one and done?
Oh, I can certainly keep trying if I go back to my quarters. I also have potions on hand in case I... You see. It's fine.
Okay, no, I believe you. Valymr, we need to go to Breton. He discovered more bodies. And then we need to get going.
And the people just... Are the bodies?
Oh, lovely. Yes. Okay, let's go.
The High King turns and goes, everyone return to your quarters. We're extending the lockdown and restricting free movement.
Wait. Oh, shit, we're okay.
He's like, not you. He means everyone that was in council.
We're going.
It's both.
But
It's
still not you.
both for your safety, and until we can get a hold of this situation. He was tomato red at this point, by the way. I may not have portrayed that with my voice, but the High King is angry.
Yeah, Ruby will, as she's walking out, we'll find her. I promise. I swear it.
Sure we will. And you go. You begin to run over to the halls of the Nardathel. That wing of the castle, in which it's actually the ground floor area. It's between the and smithy, particular cupboard was in. But before you get there, Breton, your ally, Lieutenant Andrew, that was helping you investigate and help you open the tunnels. He is. You see him be like contacted. A small, what looked to be like a symbol of the guard sort of pin, pendant on his sash glows up, and he clearly gets a message, and he just turns to you and goes, "The Queen Consort's been kidnapped, or is missing."
Yes, she has.
The other guard that you sent away for gathering the rest of Lieutenant Andrew's squad also arrives. So there is now... You sent a few people away to be able to, if you needed to leave, protect this room, stop anyone coming near.
No, because there's only 2 people in this room. He sent one away for a doctor.
Oh, for a doctor. Sorry, I thought it was for other guards. That's my mistake.
No, because he wanted to confirm. He wanted to confirm.
Correct.
Yeah. When did these people die? How long have they been here? We know what killed them now because it was the poison. But no, he wanted to know exactly how long they've been dead for.
Sorry, you're correct. That's my mistake. Bad notes. Bad DM. No. The other guard, the sergeant, returns with the apothecary, who you've met before. And the apothecary is... You see instant sort of like sadness cover the old man's face at the sight of the bodies. One of those things of... Clearly this person has seen death, but is like never gotten over it. And he...
Must be nice. Typical D&D campaign is you've been through 3 encounters. It's just like, well, what's another dead body at this point?
Real.
And he mutters a small prayer as he enters and begins to look at the 3 individuals. And he's like, more of the poison.
Yeah. I was hoping you might be able to understand exactly how long they've been dead for.
I can certainly give it a go. And he begins to examine the bodies. Is there anything else
while
you'd
he's
like
doing
to
that,
do? Yeah.
yeah, he's going to go back to that same guard that he was using as a gopher, and basically ask, who would be responsible for clerical duties at this time?
As in a cleric or clerical duties?
As a cleric, who would be responsible for laying people to rest or representing the faith?
Sure. So
I guess it's the difference between clerical and clerical. Actually, no, there is no difference to that word.
It's sadly the same word.
Isn't English a great language?
It is a fantastic language. Let me check.
Essentially, well, we got 3 dead bodies here. People who might be able to identify their attackers. I'd like to see if we can't get a speak with dead going. Assuming these people can speak.
It would probably be Lady Abigail. She's the attending cleric of the Sept of the Great Lady.
Well, if you can send message that her services will be required, I would appreciate that. I want to know if these individuals are aware of who did this to them. That will very much help us in our investigation.
I will, yeah, I'll go get her. And he runs off. It's about this time you see the guard sergeant actually exiting the halls of the Nardfell and the Palace of the Plains area. Yourselves, Ruby and Valymr, as you enter the doors. And it doesn't take you long to find where Breton is. The slightly glowing man that he is, studying the hallway.
Also, kind of tall, stands out a little bit.
Just make everybody else look like children, yes, that's what he does.
Yes, indeed.
I need to see the bodies.
They've not been moved.
They've not been moved. You see them in there. There's the three kind of... They look like they've been unceremoniously stuffed in a broom closet. And they're, like, as I said before, their throats kind of marred and scarred by that poison, where it opens the flesh and turns it to partially metallic, partially sinew.
We're time sensitive. I don't have the time to cast Raise Dead. And I don't think I can use quick action to make that a faster spell, unfortunately. It's an hour long. So in that instance, I will do Speak with the Dead.
Okay.
I didn't know you had that spell.
I am killing my 3rd level spell slots.
So, who would you like to go for? There's 3 bodies. There's 3 bodies. There's the kitchen staff member. There's the lady in waiting staff member, as in like the servant lady, and there is so it was like a lady in waiting, a cleaning staff member, and a groomsman. And it was the grooms, one of like the actual staff to the heir elect.
I'll get him.
Can I make a suggestion that maybe the cleaning lady might be the one to ask?
I think she
that feels more of a collateral damage rather than a target kind of way. Like they needed to get rid of her because she saw something kind of way.
Possibly. I have 2 more casts after this one. Or 1 more cast after this one. The reason I can't do both.
Okay, so who would you like to go for first?
Let's do the groomsman first.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing. You go to the individual. He's kind of, out of the 3, he's probably the best dressed. Probably because he gets seen as... It's not his working clothes aren't require him to get dirty. They require him to be as comfortable as a part of the furniture in a room sometimes.
Sure.
And he also seems to be the most damaged by the poison as well at first glance.
Is he going to be able to talk?
I don't think Speak with Dead requires vocal cords, so...
It requires I think all it requires is a mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why even a severed head can technically speak with Dead.
Yeah. The lifeless corpse reanimates with the glow of magic. A connection has been made.
I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. Where did you get the poisoned wine?
What poisoned wine?
How did you die?
Choking.
On what?
Water.
Where did you get the water?
Filled it. My canteen. Servants' quarters.
From what? Sorry, I was trying to deduce the origin. I don't know if that was...
Faucet.
This place has plumbing?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This entire city has plumbing.
If it's in the water supply...
And his body goes.
It's either in the water supply or was in his canteen, but he seems a bit too lower down the food chain to be a target.
Water out of a faucet, so it comes from there is a reservoir somewhere of water that must have been poisoned, but why target a servant? That I don't think is what I think there's a disconnect somewhere between the poison being inserted in his canteen and the faucet. Because if it was water out of the servants' quarters, there'd be a lot more dead people, not just these 3.
Is there a tap around here?
In
this room.
In fact, yes, there is a sink in this room because it's a cleaning closet.
Take his canteen too and test it.
I'm going to pour some water into a cup. I'm sure there'd be some reciprocal vessel somewhere in this room. I'm going to test it with the vials that I still have a couple of those left.
I test his canteen too.
Yeah.
You want you put in the neutralizing agent.
It's not the neutralizer. It's the testing to see if it is
the bile.
Bovine belly broth.
Oh, yes, the cow stomach acid, right? Because it reacts
belly broth. That's what I said.
It reacts with stomach acid. Yes. So you pour some of the stomach acid into a cup and you test the water. The water from the tap does not react; just dilutes the acid. The water from this individual's canteen does react, and you see that, like that metal, almost what's it called? Metal.
The fungusy growth.
Yeah, the fungus growth kind of fill the cup.
So, before I cast my final 3rd level spell slot, what we can do from this is. This wasn't attached to the servants' quarters. This was specific to him, which would imply that he, and presumably the others, saw something.
Yeah.
But
how did that person die? Like, they wouldn't have drank from his water canteen.
I don't know if they saw something, why poison? Why not just kill them right there?
They're all dead with this metal.
Yes.
Right.
What was this man's duties? He was attendant to the
One was a chef, 2 were maidservants.
Yeah. And did they all attend to the heir apparent?
So the maidservant lady, she was just part of the cleaning, which is castle-wide. It depends where you're rotated from what you've garnered from existing information. He would have been the person that you've just checked would have been directly to the heir apparent. He was one of his direct staff as a groomsman.
Was the cleaning ladies, were their duties also to clean the heir apparent's room?
Probably. Or it would have been. You don't know with this. You haven't been.
I'm asking the nearby people who are, the
it's
apothecary.
again, they don't know the rotas of every single member of the castle. It's one of those things of clean as clean.
Cleaner's clean. Okay. I'm gonna cast it again, but this time I'm gonna do it on the cleaner.
Going for the cleaner? Okay.
Yep.
The lady's body again gasps with the magical energy of Speak with Dead. What are your questions?
How did you die?
I was grabbed from behind. They covered my face. Choking.
Where were you?
Ooh, let me see. Western wing. Southeastern staircase. Connecting the Palace of the Plains and the halls of the Cheval.
Did you see who did this to you?
Briefly. Tall individual. Smart clothing. Couldn't see their face.
Smart clothing. Were they dressed as somebody you would recognize? Who did you recognize them by the clothes?
I didn't recognize them. Their clothes were too smart for labor.
What were you doing when you died?
Returning the keys.
Are there keys on our body or around?
Make
or
Make
yeah,
a- make
Well,
a quick
that's
perception
question
check.
5. She'd go.
Yeah. Yes. Make a quick perception check, Valymr. But as a reminder, from what you've learned already, in terms of
Yeah,
keys
can't
to the
see
heir
shit.
apparent's room,
oh, I rolled the wrong dice. So 7.
or to various locations, with the halls of Cheval, the cleaning staff do not directly each have a set of keys. There is a lockbox that they have keys to, which has more keys in it, like a key box, that they are to return the keys to. She does not have a set of keys on her.
I'm mostly thinking then that whoever killed her has nabbed the keys.
That's how they got into his room.
Possibly.
So, smart clothing, not a laborer, probably male. That narrows it down a little bit.
Do we have any idea of when they died?
Apothecary looks up. It hasn't fully been a day yet. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong voice. It hasn't fully been a day yet.
I was hoping it'd be like hours, not day, but
Yeah, I mean, we've not even been here a day, so it is. They have died since the whole investigation started, not
You've been
immediately
here over a day
useful
now.
information.
You've been here officially over a day now. So,
Yeah, day and a half.
sometime last night, he exposits.
All right. I don't have the spells without putting risk
To
to
narrow that down, after the attempt on the heir apparent.
I'm going to make him make another medicine check. The lady and the kitchen staff member seem to have been probably prior. The groomsman after.
Which of the three have not been interrogated via Speak with Dead yet?
The chef.
The chef. Okay, so we talked to one who was killed before, one who was killed after.
Correct.
I'm gonna burn some sorcery points to get some spell slots back.
Okay. As a reminder, there is someone on the way that might be able to do Speak with Dead.
Yeah,
That has been called for.
Yeah.
I'm at a
Depends
third,
if you
so
want. If you want to wait, you can. If
6,
not,
9.
it will be at this point, though. I do ask you. You are probably about to enter your next investigation period, which will be the evening period, because remember it was a split period between the council meeting and your previous one. So we are now into the third investigation period of the day before we hit nighttime and start going over the 24-hour cycle again. So this will lead up to dinner. What, if anything, we'll continue this scene, but where are you intending to go after, or do you not know yet? Because this is going to start, eating time into that.
We need to talk first.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
I'll let you guys can discuss before I draw for a question, but I will now need to, you understand the time that's ahead of you, that you now need to start spending your resources. And remember, just to remind you of how this investigation mini game works, is you can all go to the same place, you can split up, and as a group, you can ask for a quick, hey, where will this person be, once per investigation period. But yeah. Because everyone is moving around the castle. Well, less so now.
Why target the heir apparent?
Because you can't just kill the king.
I get that. Why him specifically, though?
To put
The
a
same
more
answer.
Well, why?
To put a more suitable to their ideals guy in place. If you kill the king, the heir apparent becomes the king. I think you have to kill him as well if you want your own guy. But if you kill the heir apparent, new heir apparent comes into place who might be more suited to what you want, and then you can kill the king.
From what we understand, their goal is to wipe out the status quo. You cannot do that with a line of succession in place.
Again, I understand that. If I wanted to destabilize an entire nation, though, putting myself in the bad guy's shoes, I wouldn't just kill this person. I'd get enough of that poison to kill most of the entire nobility, since they're all here in one place. This is too targeted, too slow.
Like I say, if your goal is destabilization, sure, but what if that is not your goal? What if your goal is stability, but with your guy in a high spot?
That doesn't strike me as a Nullian thing.
I don't think I know enough to say what is or not. That's court intrigue stuff. That's the kind of stuff that one might expect from, say, Drow.
Well, that's
court
my
intrigue
point.
And politics.
This, maybe I don't know enough about the Null and their cult, but what's happening here doesn't fit the things we've seen them do. We know there's a connection, but it feels like one person directing two different groups. One is a courtly intrigue, noble political drow bullshit, as you mentioned. The other is blood fountains and undead and hell. Or the abyss. So, either somebody's got their hands in multiple pies, or this is two different things. I'm going to assume the former. Which would let us believe that this Peregrinus person, whoever they might be, has the capacity to be both noble and magical inclined. They have extensive resources, the ability to ward and safely get people out of this place without the Lord High Mage knowing about it. So they have to know where his alarms are. They are targeting anybody who is related to the heir apparent. And they've got magical...
No. They're talking to anybody who might be related to the king's line of succession.
Sorry.
Because the king's consort was also targeted.
Right. I think the next attempt will be on the king himself. Since presumably the first one was thwarted. And they might go for the heir apparent again.
Yeah, I think if the goal, I mean, again, it depends on what the goal is, but going after the king at this point, if we're right that the heir apparent is not who they wish to be, leaving around, going after the king at this point doesn't do very much to a larger goal, because then the heir apparent just becomes the king. I think the heir is going to be a target again before the king. I think potentially maybe we should see that his guard gets redoubled or something along those lines, because I do think he's going to be a target before the king is. The king feels like, the final stone to topple rather than an early one.
I'm trying to find who among the people we know has access to everything that I just mentioned. They know poisons, they know magic, they know where things are and where everything is inside this castle. They know where to hide bodies, they know how to hide themselves, they know about the keys that are required, they know about the secret tunnels. That's a lot of very specific things that only certain people know. Also, I apologize for the jet noise.
Couldn't hear any jet.
Oh, good. So, who do we know has all of that? I can only think of one or two. The Lord High Mage, the Steward, and maybe one of the other High Nobles.
Well, a lot of this, especially the knowledge of poisons and such, could be not public knowledge that you are knowledgeable about this.
And how it's from an educated person, I mean, though. It's not going to be common soldiers. It's not going to be a servant or anything like that. This person is incredibly smart. Breton, do you have any insights, or?
I think the issue that we're currently facing is that they have killed off several servants so that they can move about the castle unimpeded. I do not think it is going to be a direct assault on the king. They are clearly being favoring subterfuge, they are going to strike at him in a way that he is not even going to realize that he has been struck at. That is the simple truth of it. If we want to stop it, we need to stop it at its source. We need to find the source. We need to find where they are operating from within the keep, and we need to find out how they are managing this.
The blood fountains came from devices created by the Lord High Mage. They were taken from him, they were absconded with, or he sold them. He sold them from time to time. The portals that went to the blood plane came from cubes that he created. Yes,
So
they were modified.
Okay. So the one that was found in the plumbing of, like, the city plumbing that was causing the blood river, was one that he created that belonged to the Citadel that had been stolen and corrupted.
Okay.
You are currently in the Citadel.
Yeah. So we have an idea there. I am loath to leave the Citadel to chase down our opponents through the tunnels and leave everything else unguarded. But that is my first instinct.
Definitely feels like that's more of a thing now. You know, I wasn't really buying the fact that they were in the tunnels before, but now I kind of am.
We have been over every place of this castle, top to bottom, and have found nothing untoward. I am inclined to agree with Valymr on that one. Midges give me a face. Like, have we not been everywhere, or?
We have not been nearly everywhere.
You've done about half the castle, if that. For one, and two,
Bath
you've definitely
refectory.
found hidden things in the bathhouse, for example. That's kind of untoward.
So I'm talking like an operating space.
No, you haven't found any sort of secret hideout or anything, but you haven't actually looked for one either.
Which is what I'm alluding to next.
As well, just to play devil's advocate and to try and pressure you for what you guys want to do, there is a fresh crime scene that you haven't been to yet.
Wherever the queen would have been abducted from.
Yep.
Right.
Might be an idea to go there.
Also, just a reminder, because Valymr, I know you have a struggle with memory, you do have an invitation for a dinner date tonight.
I'm aware.
Okay.
This
Wasn't sure if you remember that one. No.
I think he's going to forget that. No, that's etched in the brainstem. He's going to remember that when he's on his deathbed.
Yeah,
Highlight
my
the
notes for
campaign.
this session were basically date with... I'm not going to say that on stream. And then...
All right. Breton, I want, if you will allow it, I would like you to go to the Queen's chambers and investigate. I'm going to go to the kitchens. I've been meaning to do that this entire time. And maybe I'll uncover something down there. Valymr has to go on a date.
Don't run away.
You don't know that.
You also don't.
Valymr's got things to do. Or have done to.
Is that the next period, or is it the
That'd be
period
the next
after?
period. Or the period after. She just said a period after dinner. For food.
Is there anything that I can... I wonder. The Queen of Havre has the ability that James has, or had, the ability to see moments of traumatic events relating to objects. What objects do we have right now that we might be able to bring to her to maybe get some insight?
Can she
Is
check
there
with the
anything?
horrible events of what have happened to people? Like, if we were
I
to just
mean,
take one of these corpses to her, could she see into this person's
Objects.
most recent history?
Objects or
technically, a
places?
corpse is an object.
No, technically a corpse is not an object by
No,
the
it's
rules of
not.
the system.
No.
But, I mean, you could pull the metal out of the throat.
That just that's that
Lieutenant Andrew
would
just kind
really
of
just
gulps.
show when they ingested.
Well, one of them, and Breton will gesture to the one who was choked to death.
Yeah. Is there anything on her that would be?
She still died from metal.
Mhm.
So the suggestion is that when she was being choked, she was being force-fed the poison.
Is she wearing any jewelry?
Any jewelry?
Just give her the metal that she was poisoned with.
Yeah,
That is an object.
I know. I can't stop thinking it is just gonna show the metal growing in her throat. I can't think it's gonna. I'm worried that it's not gonna show who
A
put it there.
lowborn scullery maid, cleaning maid, it does not have jewelry on her now.
Alright. I was thinking maybe like a religious symbol on her necklace or something.
Sadly not. I rolled for it. Sorry, bud. Nothing on her.
I'm going to make my way into the secret tunnels. I'm going to start placing alarms. If people are moving around down there, I want to know when and where.
You don't... Okay. So... Are you going to try and find someone with a key? Or with one of the sigil keys to unlock them?
Because even if you know it's there, you can't just open them up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you haven't tried brute forcing one.
And knowing Breton, I could probably just pull a door off one of these hinges. That's not a big deal. But I don't want it to also look like we have deliberately started looking through these, because that might dissuade them from using them as openly. For all we know, they've already stopped using them as openly, but we have to make the assumption that they don't know that we're on their tail, potentially.
So, there's 4 individuals have these keys. 2 of them, you could probably ask for their version of it to borrow. That would be the High Magister and the High King. After Valmyr's interaction with the commander of the High Guard, probably wouldn't get his. And, well, I mean, you could
the High
try
Guard,
for
the High
steward,
Magister, the High
actually.
King, and the Steward. Who Breton has been working with the entire time so far.
So you might be able to swing his, actually, as well. So 3 of the 4.
Potentially, they might have a map of the tunnels as well.
Breton has specifically not brought up the tunnels to the Steward, because the Steward is under suspicion for being one of the people orchestrating this.
Just for my own entertainment, I want to hear what your current suspect list is. I just want to hear who your
This has already come through. Breton suspects the Steward from being either the individual who is orchestrating this, or is under the heel of the person who is orchestrating this. Does anybody else have any suspects whatsoever?
Commander, fuck it. No, but
Commander Forget.
I don't. That's what I said. I don't.
All right.
Thinking, I'm sorry.
BDM reactions. Okay. So, let's break down where you guys want to go. Is anyone sticking around to talk to the last corpse?
I will listen to what is said before we depart.
Because I
I
would
can't
say
ask
at this
questions here.
point, the individual relayed to you as Lady Abigail. Probably she's about 5'11", relatively like slender built human lady. Strawberry blonde hair tied back in a very, very neat, like neat but complex bun. And she's got deep green eyes. She walks in and says, I hear there are some souls that need guiding to the beyond.
I apologize, miss, but your talents as a cleric are required here. These individuals have met a grim and untimely fate, and I was hoping you might allow us to speak with them since their untimely demise. 2 of them have already been spoken to, but this one still remains. We have some questions for them. We would see their fates meet justice.
She makes eyes with it because there's now, 7 people, 8 people. Hang on, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There was a reason Breton was trying to keep this privacy more or less secretive, yes.
7 people in a broom closet with 3 corpses, yeah. Or around a broom closet with 3 corpses, yeah. She I can help you in your investigation. You're the investigators, right?
Yes.
Very well. Do you have some questions for me to convey?
I have a few, but I would like to get the answers before we give you all of them. Simply put, I just want you to start by asking, what were the events of your untimely demise?
You're insightful enough, Breton. You get the impression that this individual recognizes all of these 3 as well. I can do that.
Can I see your holy symbol, please?
Of course. She pulls out just a symbol of oh my gosh. Sorry guys. My brain is
Did she dedicate it to the Chevalier? Did she dedicate it to a separate deity? Is it a specific patron in the Chevalier?
It's
a heart being grasped.
It's a specific patron in. It is a specific patron in the Chevalier.
Sorry, I said patron. Probably a saint would be the proper terminology.
It is well. Yes, she's beatified. But you see a symbol of what seems to be the face, or like the silhouette of like a woman's face with 5 stars like in a constellation on the where the objects of the face, features of the face would be. Instead of features of the face, there is this constellation of 5 stars, and then it's just you see the elven ears and the long flowing hair, and it's all in silver. Don't think I need to make you check that. This would be the holy symbol for those who revere Nardathel herself as an anointed lady.
Mm-hmm. So she worships the. Okay.
She worships.
She worships the mother of the Nardathel.
Yeah, of the mother of the nation. Yes.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
No, very well. And she bends down and she says a little prayer and then puts her hand on the individual, the chef chest, and the life energy provided by the spell returns, and I'll let you guys ask the questions. I won't parrot between the 3 characters.
First question was, what were the events that led to your demise?
I was alone, washing up in the kitchens.
Washing up in it.
I heard someone in the storerooms. I went to check it out, see if it was one of the guards, or someone trying to get an extra ration. Chef's been cutting down on that. And then suddenly I was grabbed. They covered my face. Bag. And then it was wet. And then my throat just started to close, and my eyes. And they cut off.
What time did these events take place?
It was very late. The other staff members, some of them had run outside. Something was happening in the gardens.
The prince, the heir apparent, that was attacked or was choking on shit in the gardens.
That's 2 questions. Sorry, I take the questions I asked for Secret Dead far more seriously than I probably should.
Totally fine. You can. This is. I always find Speak with Death is kind of like iRobot, with the, and that is the right question.
Bag was over their heads. They didn't see who did it to them.
Is there a bag anywhere around that might have been the bag?
Make an investigation check, Valymr. You can get
There's
assistance from someone in
someone
the room if you require.
I would like assistance
in the store.
Lieutenant Andrew will help you.
Sweet. Is that a advantage?
Yes.
$13.
This is something that we could know if we'd been through the brewery at this point, or the kitchen. So like, is there any other This is not me asking the corpse. Is there any other? Actually, I guess we could just ask. So the storeroom that he would have been speaking of, I suppose you all may know better than I. Did the storerooms connect to the main kitchen themselves, or is there only one way in, one way out? Would it have been obvious somebody going in and out of these places?
No, there's Lieutenant Andrew. Mid searching the room, turns back to you. No, there's a lot of entrances. It's a small complex of buildings. One main. It's got its own sort of mini courtyard. But there's an exit at all 4 cardinal directions just to be able to get it. Well, except for directly into the wall. There's no, as far as I know, no secret passage there. But it's got quite a lot of doors and entrances they shift a lot of food and stuff in and out. It's a well-travelled location. That was also not Lieutenant Andrew's voice. That was the Sergeant Outside's voice. So I'm going to say the Sergeant Outside answered the question. Sorry. Too many NPCs at one time aren't being asked different questions at different times. It's messing with my brain, especially after 2 weeks of not playing them. Valymr, with the 13, you do actually... You move some... You move some of like the clean supplies around, and you do find what seems to be like a burlap sack that says potatoes on the side that looks like it's stained.
Stained with...
As
as if it's been... as if somebody's been like waterboarded with it on their head.
Quite
kind of
possibly,
stained.
yeah.
Can I drop a little drop of bovine belly broth onto the stain.
Be quick sleight of hand check to see how little you stain it on.
Do we need to ask for an eyedropper?
Yeah, be good.
14? So 16, sorry.
Fine. Yeah, you see, and it just kind of and she
This
tears the bag slightly.
Line of questioning here is a little dry, but there's no reason not to ask. Have you noticed any new or unusual individuals working in the kitchens as of late? I shouldn't have asked in the kitchens. I should have just asked in general. But have you noticed any new or unusual individuals working in the keep or kitchens as of late?
We have a lot of new staff, but most of them were kicked out during the lockdown. I was probably one of the newest. That's why I stayed behind. I wanted to get in Chef's good books.
Well, we have 2 more questions. Might as well ask them. Was there anyone else around that you recognized?
Do you mean when he died?
When he would have been attacked, yes. Because obviously the dead body can't recognize anyone. Like, I guess the other way is like, was he alone in the kitchen when he died?
He already confirmed that to you, so I won't let you.
But I think he was, yeah. So
I won't let you waste your question on that one. You still got to.
yeah, okay. Everybody rushed off to help with the heir apparent. Alone in the kitchen, heard somebody in the storeroom, got attacked from behind, bag on his head. I mean, we could try and ask for features about the person who attacked him, but that probably won't lead to much. We have 2 questions left. Do either of you have any questions that you think would be worth asking before I just ask 2 throwaway questions?
Is there anything you heard? Like, was there anything that you heard? Any voices that were while she was being murdered? Like, potentially was there more than one person they were talking to each other kind of way? That's the only thing I can really think of.
You didn't mention hearing any voices when they were describing the events that led to their demise. They said they heard sounds in the storeroom. I mean, sure, it's fine. Did you
check out the storeroom as well? Just after.
It might be worth looking into as well. Did you hear anybody say anything? Anything that might lead to who? Actually, let's not add any clarifiers, since that's bad speak with that talk. Did you hear anybody speaking anything during those events? Anything that might be? Again, no clarifiers. Just did you hear anybody speaking anything during the events that led to your demise?
The person who killed me. They were whispering something. I couldn't make out what it was. It was old. Sounded like Fionian, but wasn't.
Interesting. That's new.
That's good info.
That's good info.
I would like to check out the storeroom before the final question, just in case I.
The time limit on this is 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it would take you more than 10 minutes to get across the keep.
Yeah. Ah, right. That's where the book.
Yeah. There is a time limit on the bodies, and we can't just cast the spell again because that doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Never mind.
Which is unfortunate.
7 days.
Not for 7 days. If
you're still locked up
if we had the other bodies, it would, but they weren't all killed in the same place, so that wouldn't help anyways.
Give me a diamond, I can cast Raise Dead. I'm gonna ask them all the questions we want.
I have to do that on the Queen at some point.
Yeah.
You.
For the fifth question, I'm just gonna. I guess this is gonna be something where Breton's just gonna do a nicety here. Do you have any last requests? I don't think this is a question expected in any capacity.
In my bunk. Under my bed. There's a letter. Please send it to my beloved. And the faux life force recedes from the body. Right, friends.
Speaking Old Phaeonian, is that new to those of us who are even native to Nardothel? Is that like a? I mean, what would that language be classified as?
So,
or is it just Old Phaeonian?
It would be Old Phaeonian.
Like a Brit reading Chaucer.
More archaic than that. It's like, I suppose, a Brit of today reading Chaucer just about, but you're essentially, Old Phaeonian is Phaeonian from like the summit, like essentially. It was like the languages that were split. It's like comparing English and the English used in Age of Empires.
What a low.
I will. I mean
that
so.
one's very translatable.
I will. I mean so. Like, it's more like if you've ever read English inscribed on like a Templar's grave, or on, would be the equivalent. It's like if you today, or so actually, if it's kind of almost hieroglyphic, almost levels, like in terms of age. It's like trying to read.
It's only what, 1,000 years old?
Yeah, it's 1,000 years. It's not quite hieroglyphic. I'm speaking in hyperbole.
I mean, depending on what great periods of English transition would have occurred, like this is before like Battle of Hastings, like this is like we're talking like this is pre-melding of languages. But if Nardothel has largely been isolated, or not isolated,
no,
but like indifferent,
it's really not, because like Havaray is like shares language with Shelts. Shelts is a diverged culture of Phaeonian and Rhienian, so it's like there's a lot of change in regional accent, and so yeah, there's
borderline unrecognizable to some capacity.
Where Breton, you would know some, because a lot of old Chevaliant prayer would be in this language, like really old stuff. And
now I must apologize if anybody hears any construction sounds. Because construction. This has been my life for the past 8 months.
It's a noisy night, clearly. But no, this would be obscure, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. All right. He is going to turn to Lieutenant Andrew and just say, "Can I entrust this to you?" His last requests.
Oh, yes. I can do that. Yes.
I'm afraid we have more pressing matters to attend to, but this is still worth attending.
So, what do you want to do with the gathered NPCs? Do you want them to just start handling business? Or are you going to keep any of them with you? Where are also you guys wanting to go into the investigation?
I think Breton wants to grab the High Mage personally, because we sent him back to the Magister lab to keep on doing the scrying.
Yes, he's currently at his lab scrying.
So he's been giving a thing to fucking do. We definitely can't just ask the king to help us come and search the sewers. That's a terrible fucking idea. which leaves the steward, who is Breton suspect number 1, or the High Guard, Fouquet. I actually don't remember what his actual pronunciation is, just because everybody keeps calling him Fuck It.
It's Fouquet.
Oh, it was Fouquet. Okay, Fouquet is correct. Does Breton approach Fouquet? No, I don't think he and Fouquet would get along very well. Fuck, that means Breton's gonna have to search this on his own. If you can't bring along an NPC with him.
Maybe grab a couple of the guards that brought you to the bodies. It feels like, I don't know, they feel like pretty trustworthy. Maybe they could.
Yeah, so you
be back
So
up
let me go over the NPCs that are currently surrounding you. You have the cleric, Lady Abigail. You have the apothecary. You have the sergeant and Lieutenant Andrew. So, who are both of Lieutenant Andrew's squad.
The point I was trying to make is he wanted to take somebody who might be familiar with the layout of the tunnels, so he would be more efficient putting like choke points and like alarm spells at points where it's like, if people go through this area, we would know who. There's only 4 people who could potentially fulfill that.
Yep.
One of which is the king, who's off limits. One of which is the steward, which Breton won't use because he's under suspicion. The other is the magister, which we have sent off to scry. So that leaves High Guard Fouquet.
It does leave High Guard Fouquet.
So Breton begrudgingly shrugs his shoulders, just gonna sag, and says, "I must go speak with the god captain."
Okay.
Do you want me to come with you?
I think that would only exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, if he hits me, we have an excuse.
If he hits you, he doesn't have an arm anymore.
Exactly.
The sergeant with this group returns to you, Breton, and says, "I can make introductions with you with the Lord Commander."
Very good. I'm not going to turn away an extra hand just in case this does become problematic.
Also, for extra reference to those of you around who might have forgotten, these two that are with you don't quite like the Lord Commander either.
Was established, no, they're not a big fan of the guy.
No, which is why they wanted to give you guys the head start.
Yeah, which I appreciate, which is why I'm like, Andrew, you've done great work. I'm gonna send you off out of arm's reach for the second.
Okay.
I guess I could have given the sergeant that duty and had Andrew come along.
I will say you can switch if you want to.
Sure.
Because Andrew does
keep Andrew around.
He's the one that has a bit more
sensibility.
Being an officer.
Sure.
Tell people.
Then we'll flip that. We'll send the sergeant off to handle the last effects, and Andrew can come along and help mediate with the high commander.
Okay, so that's what Breton's doing. Valymr and Ruby, do you have a location that you're going together, or are you going to split up and look? Oh, Ruby, you said you were going to go to the kitchens.
Yeah, I'm rethinking that.
Okay.
I think the kitchens are. What would happen there is already expired.
That is the big problem when we keep finding these scenes post the fact. Everything there has already happened, so unless there's a really good clue leading us to where we need to go next, we're following the killer. We're not predicting the killer.
Reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah. Which is why Breton's like, I'm going to see if I can't lay some traps down in the sewers or the tunnels to catch them in the head of time.
Yeah,
that's
fair enough.
Where Ruby, I think she's going to go, is make her way down to the sewers.
That's what Breton's doing.
Well, I thought you were going to go talk to the High Guard.
No, he's going to grab the captain to get the key so he can go down into the under tunnels and lay alarm spells.
Yeah, that's what Ruby would like to do as well. Either that or go help the Lord High Mage, if you think you can handle him.
Fiery tempered, she already doesn't like him. I feel like Ruby and the fuck it guy
Farquaad is what you're gonna call
oil. Bros not that's not a mixture that really works.
Listen here, Lord Farquaad, let's get going. No, she'll go to Lord High Mage.
That's a perfect town. Here we have some rules, let us lay them down.
Yeah, she's gonna help Lord High Mage do scrying if she can.
Okay. You're gonna go ahead.
Also, just the back of my mind is saying something he's probably not, but I'm just gonna make sure.
triple check this person that you've sussed out like 3 times.
I mean, if it turns out that they are using the tunnels and they have a key, like that really narrows down who's potentially responsible or involved in this.
Yeah. Our list of suspects is growing smaller. So she's going to go to him.
Oh, okay.
Does he know Draconic?
You've already confirmed he knows Draconic.
That doesn't narrow him off the list.
Yeah. Sorry, camera.
And Mitch's camera just quits.
It's just like,
I know what she can do.
Fuck this shit
Oh,
out, man.
okay.
First, go to the library and find a book that is in Old Fionian.
Is there
Doesn't matter what.
This is a technical question for Rich. Is there any? This seems like a very unlikely question. We probably would know. Is there any crossover on Old Fionian and Draconic?
No, it would be closer to Celestial. Okay.
Sure.
All the common tongues come from Celestial because of who won. Basically, so, well,
I didn't think there were. I was curious.
It can even be like a fucking kid's book or something. She's not looking for anything like super specific.
You gotta go to the Glass Library.
Yeah.
Okay.
And get an Old Fionian book.
Okay.
Statistically, at least once, one of us has to end up in an area where something is happening while it's happening at some point in these 3 days.
I guess the closest we've been to that is the air almost dying.
You were around him when he drank the stuff. Yeah.
Valymr?
The only one, I think.
Where?
Yes. So, first of all, I think I'd like to go back to the room where I slept at, because that's where I stored the items that Grigori Stefanescu did his
Yes, he helped you.
stuff on. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, items don't have a limit on how many people can do the spell thing that I forgot the name of.
Not a spell. Grim Psychometry.
Grim Psychometry, yeah. But as far as I know, if I bring them to the Queen, she can also do that on these items.
As far as you understand how James's stuff worked,
Yeah.
possibly.
So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find. We're in a kitchen right now, or a storeroom.
You're in a broom's cupboard.
Broom cupboard. Are there any baskets?
Yeah,
Don't care if
I
they're
would say
filled with things.
There's a laundry basket, clearly, like something. There's a hamper.
Sweet. It is now empty.
Okay.
And I'm going to carefully put the stained potato sack into the thing. I don't want to touch this.
Calling someone a stained potato sack is a great insult. That's just triggered. I'm gonna have to keep that one in the back pocket.
I will be using it on Commander Fuck It before the day is out.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go back to my room where I have the box that was in the gardens.
Yep.
Like the planter box crate
It
thing.
was in the bathhouse, yes. Well, yeah, and the summer garden. You're right.
I have the bottle of poison wine.
Mm-hmm.
I have the crucible, but I don't think I'm going to ask the Queen to touch the hot shit, because that would be probably not okay.
Question.
What else
Are you intending to head there earlier than your invite? Is that what you're aiming to do?
No. That's why I was wondering, like, is the invite for this period starting now, or is it for the period after? Okay, my bad then. For this period, I'm still gonna do the thing with the basket and the potato sack, but I'm just gonna store that in my room then, and then I need to reevaluate.
No worries.
So somewhere we haven't been. I mean, there's quite a few places we haven't been.
A lot of places.
What will be the?
And again, including another crime scene.
I'm going to go to the crime scene then. I'm going to go to that place. If no one's been there yet, I'm going to go there.
Going to go to the Palace of the Lady. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. No problem.
Is that where Queen was abducted from?
Yes. As far as I know.
Yep, that's where I'm going. Yep, I'm going there.
Okay.
Drop off my shit. Palace the lady.
Sure. Absolutely. Cool. Let's start with so Ruby and Valymr, I'll say you walk together because essentially to get to the Palace of the Lady you have to go through the glass library. So let's start with Breton. Also, as you are all now maneuvering away from this location, please make your perception check for the transiting across the Citadel.
Is that for all of us, or is it just for Breton for now?
No, all of you make it.
All of us, okay.
14.
14?
That was a much better roll before it turned on me.
15.
10.
Cool.
I regret that one thing in this campaign that Breton did not use is a shield, and that Breton did not grab that the Sentinel shield that gives advantage on perception checks, because that would have made this entire situation so much more manageable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you and Lieutenant Andrew head to the office of the High Guard, which is on the second floor of the. Essentially, it's connected alongside the kitchen, bakehouse, brewery section of the keep, and it's on top of House Guards Hall. It's kind of looks like a 3-story. It's not like a block house. But it's like the lower half is like cathedral fronted, if that makes sense. It's got like a very chapel shape to it, and then has a block house coming out in the middle. And you go into House Guards Hall, and it is just like, it has as well the location out the front for, you know those, I'm going to use the outside, like, I don't know if you've ever seen on TV pictures of Horse Guards Parade, which is in London, where like Royal Cavalry will be like on guard on their horse, but in like a guard box.
No.
Okay, but it's like, imagine like a guard box, you know, where it's like the triangle.
Sure.
It's that, but sized up so someone can sit on a horse within one.
Sure.
And there's one of those each side of the gate, and you go through the gate, and then there's this chapelish lower floor, and then blockhouse in the middle. And you're led through the halls, and it seems to have a couple of wings where, like, it seems to be barracks rooms and armories, etc. But you see, like, there's also elegant displays of the household cavalry and the High Guard cavalry in their golden, the another gold armor with those white sashes, much like Lieutenant Andrew is wearing, and he was in this way. It leads you up the spiral staircases up to the high office of the High Guard. There is a guard posted on the door, and Lieutenant Andrew just kind of says like, Stefan, I'm here to hear the commander. We have information for him. Just kind of nods and lets you both in. You see a very busy office, actually, Bren. There's probably about 5 or 6 individuals in here. They seem to be in the colors of the guard, but only like 3 of them are in armor still. Like, others seem to be more like they've either taken their armor off and they're just wearing their padded, because they're doing office work, or they're a clerk. But they seem to still have the guard. It's a mix of both the household cavalry and some of the guard. And you do see across, staring at like an evidence corkboard, is the Lord Commander it's still in his brilliant gold armor. And he's
there's just strings attached from thing to thing.
He's fiddling with a golden mustache, and also behind him, because he's got his back to you, but in front of you on a table is what looks to be a large slab of stone and what looks to be like clothing and assortment of items.
As the two of them kind of approach up, Breton's he's gonna look over that first, and he's also gonna take a good look at that corkboard as well. What information does he have that we don't? Is there anything that he's been hiding from the investigators? If he did not expect us to just waltz in here and just step amongst this while he's looking at it.
As you... Okay. I'm not going to make you do a perception check, but I'll describe it. So it looks like a slab of flooring that's been pulled up. And what also looks to be like a couple of bags, one of which is open and seems to be filled with gold. The other looks to, and then the clothing seems to be like a fancy suit.
Lord Commander, I've
around.
come with a request for you.
He turns around. Lord Montilier, yes. How goes your investigation?
Finding more evidence all the time, but none of it's leading anywhere at the moment.
He points down to the items on the desk. We uncovered the cash hidden in the kitchen stores.
The storeroom.
Yes, this was discovered in our searches. We have been looking for hiding places that people could be using ever since rumor mill of the poison that we discovered had started making its way around. So we were trying to find caches, see if anyone was storing anything, and we uncovered this. And I can't make head or tail of it. There's clothing, bags of gold. We think maybe the perpetrators were using this to bribe individuals.
Kind of looking it over, it immediately seems like because the chef, when he talked about what happened during events, he remembered. No. It was the servant that got attacked. Pretty sure they were described as having a nice set of clothing. One of the ones that were attacked, they were dressed well.
The maid
the maid said they were dressed well.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the marble slab will lead to, but that might be worth some curiosity.
Sorry to cut. That was the slab covering this cache.
That was the slab covering up the cache. That
Yes,
makes
it's
sense.
essentially flooring. He's pulled up the floor.
Yeah. Yes. There was another dead drop in the summer garden that was discovered as well. They were using the drainage vents.
He then he goes. You see, actually, he's got like a map on this corkboard as well. He just put. Could you point out to where so I could?
I mean, Breton will give a description of it was one of a crying woman, no eyes.
He's like calculating his head, and then he marks on the map where he assumes that is. You said you had a request.
Yes. 3 bodies were found in the southwest of the keep. 2 servants and a chef. Dead, all killed in the same way that was the attempt on the heir apparent's life.
He like rage hits the table and swears and so. We've got to catch these people.
When we interrogated the bodies, the chef mentioned that he was killed hearing noise in the storeroom, where I take it that you found these items in question. Seems like he may have been killed to cover up whoever was investigating or looking around there.
He almost caught our killers in the act.
It is curious because all 3 of these individuals were stuffed into a broom closet, yet nobody saw anybody carrying any bodies across. That seems suspicious to me. And I believe they may in fact still be using access points throughout the keep that may not be known to everyone. And I'm sure you know what I speak of.
Everybody, go get some well-needed lunch. We'll regroup in 30 minutes. I must continue the investigation. Go on without me. Bring me back. Would you like any food? Anything brought back?
Breton considers it and realizes he probably hasn't eaten today. It's like I would not mind something to eat. Yes, we're going to be marching.
2 roast gammon sandwiches, please. Andrew, 3. So,
You guys are gonna hate it. Breton's gonna become best friends with this guy. It's gonna be like a horrible divide of the party, even if he's a bit pompous.
Fundamentally, first of all, I must apologize for an interaction that may have occurred between myself and your party members. Whilst I do not normally feel my station requires it, you have been helpful. Very helpful, and you are diligent at your jobs. It was a moment of high stress, and I let my emotions get the better of me.
The apology is not owed to me.
No, but I would like to set the groundwork for what we are discussing and what information we have now by having at least a clean slate there. I will endeavor to catch up with your compatriots as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that will have to wait towards after. As you realize, I mentioned the tunnels that are used in events of emergency throughout the keep. Only 4 people on this keep are known to have keys of them, but we've also established that these individuals are aware of how the key system works, namely how they access potentially the heir apparent's chambers, as one of the servants was apparently killed attempting to put the keys back. So would have explained how they easily found their way into having the key to the heir apparent's chambers. I still believe there might be some credence to it. I need somebody who is familiar with the tunnel layouts, the tunnels that would connect to the most places, as I would like to lay spells within the area to alarm us when people are using access to these areas. It may tell us where and when people are going to appear. That's what I'm going for. Obviously, if there's not... Yeah, by definition, obviously, if we cannot establish a chokehold because the tunnels do not connect to each other in such a way, then I would like to prioritize areas that the king is going to be, should we know if they're ever going to move against him.
You're of martial mind. I'm inclined to agree. And if what you say is true and they are using the tunnels, there are only 3 other individuals that have access. And one of them controls their own alarms. Yes, let us set traps. I agree. We will have the gammon sandwiches when we come back. Andrew, you will need to... He then looks at the armor. I was about to say carry a torch, but not very conspicuous. Darius.
I'm afraid I don't do anything subtly, despite my efforts.
He turns to where the evidence corkboard is and like pushes it aside, and it's like on wheels and it moves aside from a bookcase. He then he's going through, and you see him just grab a book, and then like pull it out, and you hear, and then a door opens in some of the books. He then gets out what seems to be the others who have seen it. Because he's had his lock key before. He's the one that actually opened the tunnels the first time.
Mm-hmm.
He's just... I'm going to give this to you. Unless you require my help, in order to prove my innocence and my deniability, I won't know where your traps are. So even if in case of myself being compromised, I will not know a perfect path or escape route. But like this, I also... He then goes into the safe again. Here is a map.
Mm. All right. Breton will take those and just. I mean, that's what he wanted. That's exactly what he wanted. So that'll work for him.
He looks Andrew up and down and says, "You're shaping up to be a fine officer, Andrew. Keep at it. For your information, Lord Montelier, whilst only 4 of us have the keys, we are definitely not the only 4 who know about the tunnels. My seconds are all drilled in evacuating VIPs from certain areas of the castle, from the citadel, and grouping to them. It's only 3 individuals of my guard, and I cannot tell you who else might know from previous stewards who might have had the information, that sort of thing. So
that was a question that had actually come up to my consideration. There are only 4 keys here that can open these doors, to your knowledge.
Correct.
Then if these individuals who are responsible for escorting people out are responsible for helping those who might be in trouble, how can these 4 keys potentially evacuate all the important individuals?
It's... If the keys are required, I'm afraid not every important individual is to be prioritized.
I understand that, but the way you speak of it is that you have your seconds who are responsible for contacting those who should be escorted and getting out of here, but without a key themselves, it's of no use.
It is to ensure that the keys themselves do not fall into the wrong hands as part of the procedure. They move the groups depending on where they are in the castle. They will move to an important individual. To the mission statement is that 2 platoons head towards the High King, whichever one gets there first. Is make sure that they are out. The other is to secure the Magister and help the Magister either repair the wards, or if the Magister has already fallen, secure his key. Same with the steward. And then I myself handle my key. It is more a case of their job is not to... It is both to protect the individual holding the key, but mostly the key itself.
Mm-hmm. All right. I have no further questions now. I should hurry along and make sure that I set up these before too much more time has passed. I'll have to repeat this every so often, but I'm afraid it's going to be easier said than done. But for now, it turns to Andrew. I hope you're ready to get your marches in today.
Andrew nods and is like, I'm ready. Get some help.
Breton is going to make his way down into the catacombs, or the sub catacombs, the passageways, and start preparing good choke points. Preferably, he would like to nail choke points that have obviously typical choke points have multiple directions they can lead to. He wants to get alarm passages towards choke points so that he would be able to pinpoint direction. If people move through one alarm and alerts him, and then through another alarm and alerts him again, he's like, I know what way they're moving.
Perfect. Yeah, no, cool.
Breton has, I hate to say it, Breton has, I'm
going to allow you to do survival at advantage plus your proficiency.
Survival at advantage plus proficiency. That is effectively going to make this a persuasion check. Or not a persuasion, a perception check is what this is going to be.
Sure.
Because that is perception. Same roll. With advantage. 24.
Ooh, good roll. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna shout out to Andrew for helping with that one.
Andrew is definitely helping you at least like analyze some choke points. I'm actually also going to get you both to do a perception check.
So we'll roll
while
that
you're
again.
down there. See if you hear anything, see anything strange, any movement.
Is this also at advantage, or is this a straight
yes,
roll?
because you have Andrew with you.
All right. Not disadvantage, just advantage.
And as I note, Andrew is trained in investigation if it comes up.
Good, so I can help him do that. Perception not. Goddamn, perception not so good. That was a
Can we
14.
adopt Andrew?
Andrew, are you looking for new business opportunities? I know your commander just gave you credit to maybe promoting you, but the Skyfire Adventure Company is always looking for new recruits.
14. Okay. The catacombs look the same as the last time you guys were down there. Not the catacombs, like the tunnels. So it's like, it's weird. It's so weird that these tunnels are clean.
Yeah, that keeps bothering me, because, like, 4 people are only supposed to know about it and have access to it. So who keeps coming down here to clean them? Like, we're gonna find out that there's just, like, an ooze marching its way through the tunnels, cleaning it. Like, it's just a very, like, non-aggressive ooze that just feeds on the dust and stuff down here.
Just... Oh, yeah, don't mind him.
That's just Barry. He does that.
Quick, write that down.
It's canon now. Yes, I've established why these tunnels are so clean.
Yeah.
They just have a series of oozes who make their way through the tunnels, eating the dust, and that's how they subsist. Occasionally, they throw scraps down here as a treat.
It's an ooze hive mind. It's all Barry.
We are the Barry. Okay, you begin setting your traps.
Yeah. So how many alarms am I going to need, or is this a number of like how many I cast is going to determine how wide the net is going to be?
I'm gonna say how many you cast is how wide the net is gonna be.
All right.
Because
I
these
am
tunnels
going
are
to.
vast, as is the Citadel.
Yeah.
So, but you
So
also
alarm
wanted
lasts-
to prioritize like the route you think the High King will take.
He's looking towards choke points. He's also going to prioritize areas that the High King would be located in, just because if they decide to move against the High King, that's the area that like he wants to know the second that they might be moving towards that section of the keep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's going to do this at the end of the 4 hours. It only takes 1 minute to cast alarm, so we'll say because I want it to because since it lasts 8 hours, I want it to last for the next 2 periods.
Yep.
That being the idea?
To the dead of night, essentially. Yeah.
Yes. Breton. It may seem like a bad idea. Breton is going to use 3 first levels, 2 second levels, and 3 third levels for this. So there is going to be 8 alarm spells that is going to be encompassing this
Awesome.
up.
Okay. Cool.
He's saving 2 fourth levels just in case.
Security. I like it. Okay. We're gonna go to Ruby and Valymr. So Valymr and Ruby, you both enter the glass library, and what you see in front of you is a lovely, lovely room. It is a marble and wooded open library with a big, like, glass corner wall. It's almost like greenhouse, like sort of, because it encompasses the roof as well for part of it, that looks out towards the sept, and it offers the high garden of walls and the gardens, and you see it all out of there. And then the rest of the walls are bookcases. Valymr, you also see the large entrance to the bridge that goes over to the Palace of the Lady. There's like a dark blue leather motif with a lot of the furniture in here. There's bannerets hanging from the wall. And Ruby, you're sticking around. You're looking for a book of Old Feonian.
Yep.
Okay. After some time, you find what seems to be a shelf full of like encyclopedias and dictionaries, and you do actually find an Old Feonian dictionary.
Cool. I'll take it.
Sure. It's a hefty book, probably about a good 1,000 pages. Old school Bible kind of shape. Like you could knock a man out with it. It is like the size of A4 piece of paper probably, but 1,000 pages. Leather bound.
Yeah. She's gonna, because she had so much success reading the other old Fionian stuff that she translated. I imagine
that was Albanian. It wasn't
Ah.
Fionian.
Related though, aren't they?
A little bit. You'd actually have better, because you speak Fionian, you'd actually have a better chance with Old Fionian than you did Old Albanian. Albanian, sorry, not Albanian. Not Albanian. It's not
That's
Old
where
Albanian.
I'm from. Got it.
Yeah, welcome to my world. It's all based on the former Yugoslavia.
She's just gonna quickly peruse through it at a casual glance. Does this seem like something this would be? Is this something somebody could just pick up, or would this have to be something that you have to study it to?
If you to speak it regularly, the vowel sounds and stuff are completely like it does have like phoneticisms of like how to break down certain words. It's different. It's very different. It's like you would have
very
to be,
different.
You'd either have to be natural at it, or you'd have to be learned in it, or yeah. It's not. This is no even rudimentary learned individuals would take years to learn this. Probably it's not going to be anywhere easy.
Sure.
Like, there's letterings that are not used in the alphabet anymore.
Is Valymr gone, or is he already?
He's just across the bridge. If you wanted to like get him,
No,
he's
walking away.
Yeah, this would be like.
How much time would it have taken you to find
about
this
10
book?
minutes
I
later.
probably would have.
Yeah, he's probably gone. Okay. Interesting. So if somebody were to speak this language, they would have to study it, because you can't just pick it up like I could Spanish or anything else. Or, and this is the more horrifying thought, that they grew up with it, which would make sense considering a few things. So we'll figure out that. Alright, she's gonna go to the Lord High Mage's Tower with the book. Hopefully I'm not gonna get charged a library fee.
No, there's no librarian. So this is a private library. You're essentially in the royal quarters at this point. This room isn't guarded either.
This isn't borrowing a book. You've just committed theft.
Oh, damn. She's gonna look around out of curiosity. Paranoia, is we following her?
Sure, give me a perception check.
11.
Not that you can see. It doesn't feel like that. You don't have the feeling of eyes on you.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna go to the Magister's lab.
Okay. We're actually at time for our midpoint break, so Valymr, we'll have to come back to you afterwards. Sorry, bud. But join us in 10 minutes' time, where we will finally take a look at the scene of the crime, or the other one, should we say? But join us in 10 minutes. We'll see you in a moment. Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content, whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post? Don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex. I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot. It's free to stream everywhere. And if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch. And just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighboring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions.
With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Dre Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope. From the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness, a radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can dutifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get an extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast.
we return. So, we're actually going to jump back to Ruby. You're heading to the High Magister's office, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
In part because she doesn't trust him at all,
Yeah,
but
fine.
she doesn't trust anybody at this point. But also, I don't know. Beth has a feeling. It might be nothing, but there's just something. He is a part of too many things in her mind for it to be coincidental.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so you head over and you his chamber doors are closed, the big blue runic doors, and you hear what seems to be spells coming from the other side.
Bum ba da dum bum.
And as you do that, the doors magically swing open.
Wow, that bit works. Huh.
And you see the High Magister is he has two like eye orbs like floating around him, and the bowl that you saw earlier, or a version of it, is also holding in the middle, but he's also, it seems to be surrounded by a wall, like a wall of force. On one side, he's kind of turned it into like a blast shield to cover his books.
I don't get, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
you, because he's been able to open the door, but he's like making sure that his bookcase doesn't get wrecked. He's kind of just like, and you see, and then like the bowl that he was scrying from is like chained. Whilst it's levitating, it's now chained. And also, you notice that he's put up what seems to be like, they seem to be like curtains, but they're more like crash mats that have been held up. They're like a thick, like sort of padded quilt that he's holding around like a certain like what might be sharp corners of like bookcases and worktops and stuff. It's like, and he kind of just. He like holds up a finger like 1 minute because he's clearly concentrating on a spell.
I need to roll my 1d4 to get my charges back for my Gemacine.
It's not been dawn yet.
You're right, it hasn't. I don't have any more charges of it. That's
Nope.
unfortunate.
It has not been dawn yet.
Okay. Do you need help? Can I help? Can I provide assistance?
Can the help action be used on a spell? I don't know that it can.
DM's discretion on that one.
You don't have the spell scrying, do you?
No.
Then I would say you
Do
can't.
I look like a wizard?
And he's just like, you see like the veins in his forearms like aglow, and it's like he is clearly rapping with something powerful. He's and then like the two like seeing eyes like shard into like ethereal glass. He recoils back into one of the crash mats and catches himself. The bowl like pings around again, and it's like he begins swearing in a language that you don't understand, and he stands up, rushes himself off, and so
I
at least
speak
it did
quite a
not.
few, but-
I don't think you speak Azdakian, do you?
No.
He basically stands up and goes, I almost had it that time, I swear.
Take a break. I have some questions for you, sir.
Absolutely, coming in. Would you like a coffee?
Tea, please. Actually, I'll
Tea,
take on
tea,
coffee.
He moves aside the one of the things. I have some green teas from back home if you'd like to try something a bit more perfumed.
Lovely. And she'll set this monster book down on a table. Boom.
He pays no mind to the sound of a monster book. Do you have a favorite flavor profile?
Honey.
Honey? Mm-hmm. I have something for you.
She has a sweet tooth.
Yeah, that's fine. He brews you a nice sort of a citric tea. It's like it's made from grasses that kind of give like a citric flavor, and he says you often cool it with cold honey, and he like gets you some honey to pour into it.
we go.
Well, he basically pulls up one of the lab stools and sits near you. He's like, what can I do for you? How are things? I keep getting what it feels very close to where I'm getting with the spells. Whatever wards are exceedingly powerful. I do not feel of the entity that made them does not feel. It does not. If it is a mage, it is an ancient one. Put it that way. I have not seen magic much like this. It feels odd to me, and I do not know how to explain it more.
No, I actually was coming to the same conclusion. What we're dealing with is somebody who's very old.
Explain.
She'll gesture to the book. While we were investigating, we spoke to some of the dead. And she mentioned a conversation that she overheard. She could understand it because it was Old Fionian. Now, I didn't hear the language. I don't speak it. But, she'll gesture to the book, I can't imagine there's but maybe 6 people on the planet who can.
I would expose it a little more than 6, but you're right, that is not a very common thing.
Putting together all the clues. Sorry, I need somebody who is a little more higher caliber for investigations than my beloved husband or Valymr, or the Lord High, or the High God. Beloved that they may be. They have an innate knowledge of this castle, from top to bottom. They know... Excuse me for one moment. Get out, get out, get out. They know where everything is, where to hide, where to go, where to put bodies, how to sneak up on people, access tunnels, everything. They know that the keys are used to access these tunnels and have access to them. They know where all of your wards are and how to avoid them. So Breton is currently establishing new ones, and hopefully we can suss them out that way.
Did you just tell a guy you suspected of being...
She's luring him.
But you're telling him that I am setting wards.
Yeah.
Which is actual information that might be useful.
I'm checking his reactions. You have to... A little bit. I'm not telling him where they are. Anyway. So I lost my train of thought. We know there are an extremely high caliber mage. And they have a fondness for alchemy and poisons. Of all the criteria I have given you so far, plus the addition that the targeted assassinations seem to be centered around the heir apparent, or at least his staff. They tried to get him. Who, in your repertoire of nobility, meets that criteria, plus would benefit the most from the assassination of the current regime?
He thinks for a moment.
Bearing in mind that I think the same individual is the one who's been manipulating your, I keep wanting to call them mother boxes, but your portal cubes, your companion cubes.
This was a triumph. Hold on, I'm making a note here.
I see what you did there. Huge success!
It's hard to overstate my satisfaction with your answers. Anyway, he thinks for a moment. Make an insight check, because you said you wanted to read him.
Bearing in mind that I am terrible at this, but I'm going to try my best. That's a 14.
The only other at court I know for sure to be a mage is the Queen of Hathaway. Anrayne would benefit from instability, but I know the Queen. She is not the sort. Anrayne is a very, very misjudged kingdom and does not get a fair rap.
I agree. My concern, though, is I'm assuming she's old enough.
I wouldn't want to assume, but it is very possible.
And the cult we're dealing with is Null, which is a dead god of the dead, to which they also have, I would assume, have some sort of connection to, courtesy of their afflictions.
Yes. They are also known to be one of the most zealous fighters against such evils because of their afflictions.
Okay.
You see like a flare in his eyes, like a brainwave. We're dealing with Nullians. They are necromancers. You said you heard someone speaking Orpheonian.
Yes.
Have we checked the crypt?
I wasn't even aware there was a crypt in the castle.
Beneath the sept.
Looking at the map, that's very much not there. I have not, no. But that would also be the first place I'd look if I knew there was one. But they did find a murder outside of the Sept recently, didn't they? Yes.
It is where DM will say, it is where the High Prince was found. Was outside. It was in the gardens outside of the Sept. It's a long shot, but maybe we could go and check it out. We could, but
she'll sip from the tea.
Yeah, tastes nice.
I'm not dying too, so that's good.
No. Make a concept. No. No.
Ah, shit.
About the wardings. Every time I try, I keep coming. Every time I get close, I see a reflection of myself. Like I'm trying to pass through a mirror. But it rebounds, and the energy throws me. All of my research of the planes, all of my skills as a diviner, as an expert on seeing from the great beyond, I've not come against this kind of magic.
New magic or very old magic?
Old. Very old.
This may seem off topic entirely and unrelated. In the people that have died throughout this city, not recently, but in general, how many of them have had their souls stolen?
Souls stolen. You mean,
They didn't, when they were killed, there was no soul to reclaim. It was gone.
Yes, I will. Though there have been individuals in the past, that's for sure, but none that having a vessel without its connection is prohibited for burial within the city walls. It would go to the great graveyard outside.
Sorry, I should have led with what I'm thinking. Hypothesize very old mage, necromancer, lich.
Oh, you're thinking lichdom. The last lich within the Netherfell is probably one from. I am not. He returned re-pulls out the symbol of Brayla. Like he is like, I am not from here to know of the saints that well.
She'll reach out and pull out hers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on this one. But I can't think of any mortal who would be that old. And if you're a necromancer, my first leap to conclusion is somebody that old is somebody who's naturally prolonged their life. And if it's not Anrayne, lichdom is my next guess. Which would also explain why you can't get through. No offense to your magic, but they're probably just outright better than you are.
I'm skilled, but there are certainly beings and entities more skilled than I. The thing that confuses me the most, normally I can sense if where I'm trying to go is towards a certain plane. Just a little instinct. I've traveled. I know enough. I have enough divining rods. I get a taste for it. I feel like I get thrown from here. And then thrown back, and then thrown there, and thrown back. Would you be willing to, if I gave you a scroll, attempt it just to see what I mean?
Not my forte, but I could certainly try.
You don't have to succeed. I merely want you to see what I am describing. Maybe another magical mind seeing it would help me think of something that I'm not seeing. Oh, it feels weird saying that.
No, I get it. I just tempering your expectations with, I am not a wizard. I effectively started learning magic 8 months ago.
Oh, what? And you're... he's like... Oh, he's like assessing your power, and so you say 8 months. He's like... There's a moment of like awe and then self-reflection.
I cheat. I'm a sorcerer. It's a little different.
I will try my best to divine danger to make this as safe as possible for you.
Have you tried using a globe of invulnerability?
I've been trying to limit how much of actual spellcraft I utilize myself to make sure I can give this as many goes as possible before I have to take a massive break. But I've been using all the force that the room has and things.
If you can cast a scroll of invulnerability around me, the globe, that will help us at least shield us from, hopefully, the worst magics that can come out of it. I can cast the scrying.
Okay.
And at least we'll have a...
I can certainly... I do not feel I have the energy for that today.
Sure.
But I do still... Basically what I'm trying to explain to you is he still has some of his potency and would be able to use that to help negate some damage if it was coming in. Make sure that if you roll bad, that it's not going to be awful.
Sure.
But I'm going to give you a chance here to roll and break through. So I'm going to need an Arcana check for the spell because it is not of your...
I'm well above the level for it, though.
You are well above the level, but it is not of your class.
Yeah.
So I'll just need a quick Arcana check. But
That's a natural one. Can I use my inspiration?
I will. Yeah, you can use the inspiration, or I can use the potency.
I'll use the inspiration first.
Sure.
18.
Sure. Okay. You can get the spell off fine. Now, I'm going to need, as you're a charisma caster, I'm going to allow this to be a charisma saving throw. Because as you begin to scry, you get this swirling image of what seems to be a null space of blue-purple void of smoke, like your body has been stretched out of itself and then in itself, and then you found a gap between your soul and yourself. There is like a double vision about everything, and in front of you stands a reflection of yourself back at you against a mirror-sheen mercurial wall of shimmering, not light, but imagery. Please make a charisma saving throw.
$24.
Okay, you get a bit more of the image. You actually see that this shimmering reflection is on a slightly opalescent fracture of a large pane of almost glass-like crystalline structure floating in a void space. And you see behind it just a slight haze of a room before you are thrown away from yourself and you're back suddenly in the lab. You don't take any damage or anything. Your roll was high enough to not be blasted away.
Saw a room.
You see what I mean? I have never felt energy like that whilst trying to scry.
Have I?
You felt energy like that?
Exposed to the mouthy, necrotic dead guys, exposed to hell, or anything like that? Did anything feel familiar about this place?
Give me... I'll allow you to take either... Are you trying to extend to this magically or through your memory?
Magically.
Okay. Give me an Arcana check if you're trying to give a sense.
20. Dirty 20.
You take a moment. You breathe in the feelings of the scene that was before you, and there is a shiver that you feel. There was a similarity, closeness in energy to those guardians from beyond, the astral pariahs that you first encountered on top of the floating island, that you saw at the fall of the center of the Shatter Shields, that you saw at the beginning. You felt
The
something...
corrupted ones.
No. Similar to the non-corrupted ones.
Ruby goes white. The only person in charge of them is the king that never was, as far as I understand it.
That would be, as far as you understand it, yes.
Okay.
Similar
Shit.
energies to them.
What do you know about the Guardian Sentinels around the world? The ones who make sure time is not messed with. The Guardians of Beyond.
He looks bewildered.
I don't know their actual name. I've been calling them Aeons.
Yes, I know of who you speak. They are souls, were once souls of great mages or warriors dedicated to the gods and to keeping the universal order. They defend this plane, protect it, guard it, patrol it. I've never, thankfully, had an interaction with one.
I've had 2.
You have?
I'll get to that later.
Please, yes, do.
The magic that I felt there felt like that. Very close to it, anyway. There was something off, yes, Midge. It wasn't quite, but it was close.
It was almost like they take their power from a similar place.
It felt like their power. Which is, as I understand it, still the single most powerful things I have come across in terms of raw magical energy.
Fair. That would be a fair assumption. He now also goes white.
Okay.
Which is hard for a very tan-skinned man.
Blanches pretty easily. Okay. Well, good news, bad news. We know that's probably not the Queen of Hathaway. I don't know anybody outside of the council of whatever the big council we met before the island. Shoot, I forget their names. The guy who gave you the ring. The Mort the Magnificent and his...
Oh, the people at the second summit? Or do you mean the
Mort and the other crazy...
The crazy people. The
Yeah.
Illuminati. The Illuminati.
I
not the
can't think of
Illuminati.
anyone
What
outside of those mages who have even close to that level of power. And I've met some pretty powerful mages in my time. I don't think the assassin, I don't think the leader of this conspiracy is here. I think there is I think we're still on the right track. I saw the room. I might be able to get in. But if I fudge that spell up, I'm going to end up probably bits and pieces. So it's high risk.
It's not worth it. We will find ourselves a way, but that is good answers. Either way, it shows something is after us for this, or is interfering.
Something from beyond. No. Shit.
And with that, I'll fade this scene and bring the lights up on Valymr. Valymr,
Yes.
the scene in front of you is that of a clear crime scene. There are guards posted, and you are asked of who you are, but it is very rapidly, your credentials are verified and you are let in. You see 2 bodies instantaneously, and a room that looks like a struggle happened. Both bodies have been decapitated. and are completely like soaked through wet, and they look to be household cavalry, like the top guards of this location. There is items of the room. So what the room in front of you is a very, very was once beautiful parlor, open chamber that leads up to there's like a central off-centered spiral staircase that leads to like a mezzanine balcony sort of bedroom area, private doors. Like you also hear the dripping faucet of like the plumbed private bath. In a side room, like there is clearly some servants' rooms off of this large room, but when it says Palace of the Lady, it means that this is a lovely location, but it's kind of it's an interesting combination of both like bedroom and palatial royal like quarters. As well, it is almost like shrine. There's a lot of really ancient statues and like altars and places to pray, and it's like one of those things of this is clearly a very, very old part of the citadel, and it's also very nicely lit. There's like a lot of like big open glass windows, stained glasses, etc. But the soft furnishings in the room are in complete disarray. There is also a large painting or sets of paintings on one wall. One of them seems to be completely grey, almost like the painting has been stolen.
Either they're a fan of Wilson Fisk.
Is the so it's been like the canvas has been ripped out, and it's like maybe
edges are clean, you would say, from what you can see without investigating.
Okay.
But this is the scene you have around you. Feel free to ask me more questions. And the guards are posted, and they're like, "We found the bodies. The doors were locked. There's no other way in or out other than the bridge."
The decapitated people's are
Yes.
their heads here?
No. They also aren't bleeding from the stumps.
They're not bleeding.
No. Head's gone,
Because the heart.
not bleeding, bodies covered in water. Like sopping wet, almost like they had to fight underwater. And then they've, like, where you see a pool of blood is actually a pool of water kind of thing around these bodies.
Can I dip my fingers in the water and sniff them?
Sure.
What does the water smell like?
The water's warm.
Even warm water on a what's the ground made of?
Marble.
Even warm water, like even scalding hot water laid on marble, is gonna grow pretty cool in an hour. I suppose it's been at least an hour since
Probably.
she was snatched, so that's interesting. Does it smell of anything?
Soap.
Does this room have a bath?
Yes, there's a side. I described there's a side room that looks to be plumbed. Like you can see a dripping faucet from the thing and like a mirror. You might assume that there might be a private bath in there.
Can I check you said there's a lot of windows. Can I check all the windows to see if they are locked, open,
Sure.
any entrances that way?
None of these windows seem to be very openable. If they are, it's like a tiny little slit for air. They're like, because a lot of them are ancient stained glass. It's like the only way is to push yourself through the glass. Essentially, throw yourself out of the window. Defenestrate would be the only way out. Auto defenestration. Like there are vents for air in terms of in the glass, like a little, but they are slit vents. This room would get really warm on a summer's day, most likely.
I can only imagine. Well, I can't only imagine I have a conservatory. I am going to... I'm going to do a scan around the room, looking underneath little cabinets and looking underneath bed and looking with vision, and then I'm going to do the same again with the blindfold down.
Okay. Just gonna give me a full investigate the room. Give me investigation with advantage, please, family.
Let's go. Please give something. Fuck me right in the balls. I'm going to use a point of luck.
Go for it.
Give me one more chance on that. Good lord. 11.
11.
3 dice.
Sure. That's so rough. I'm sorry. With an 11, and the fact that you're... Because, again, this is going to be... This isn't a measurement of what you find. This is a measurement of how long it takes with how we're doing our investigations now. It takes you some while to actually go through... Like, you go quite thorough. And things don't like you, and then you kind of get halfway through and go, "Did I check that properly?" And kind of double back. It's like you at first you kind of a little bit man look, and then go back on.
Let's get my wife here. She can find everything, even in places that I've already looked.
Exactly. It's kind of that.
Where's the milk gone? It's not in the fridge. It's right there in the door.
You're second guessing yourself a lot, is what I would say. And there's things that keep playing on your mind. Eventually, you do check the baths, and you do find 2 heads in the bath.
Oh, lovely.
But they went amiss at first because it's like a bubble bath, and they were buried underneath it.
Getting rid of all the other bubbles. Is there anything else in there with them?
They're weapons.
Okay. Is there any blood on the weapons? I suppose with it being underwater, probably not.
And it doesn't look like the water's been hued with blood or anything. Like, it's weirdly, everything is like bloodless crime scene. The striking thing about the heads, eyes are missing. No eyes, just there are holes there in their head. Their mouths are wide open as well on both of them, like their jaws locked open. Like it's kind of how the head is. The ears have also gone.
What the fuck? Okay. I will take their heads from the bath and put them beside the bodies.
Yeah, sure. You continue to look around.
I want to pay attention as well, specifically to the painting, especially when I've got my the blindfold on, and see if True Sight is giving me any vibes, any extras.
Yeah, with True Sight, you see a painting there, but you don't think it's going to be the painting that was meant to be there.
What is the painting of?
You see a woman who looks to be in royal clothing, possibly a bathrobe, in fear for her life. She is also sprayed completely with blood.
This is a painting of the scene. Is the room this room?
It looks quite likely to be this room. You have to get very close because obviously you only have 10 foot of True Sight with your True Sight. With how that works, isn't it? No.
Yeah, I was.
No, that's only
the
when you're
True
in
Sight
bed.
is only 10 foot.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Blind Sight 60 foot, or 120, one of the two.
120, I think, because of your vision.
Okay. Next up, there are still the guards posted outside the room, or are they inside with me?
Kind of. They're kind of the doorway between the bridge and this room. You could easily go and talk to them, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, excuse me, guard. I require somebody with the ability to cast the spell Identify. Do you know of anyone you can run and get with that spell at short notice? The Magister I know is busy with.
He was going to say that he's like and you say the Magister's busy, and he goes, no, sorry, if you have a name, I can go and find them, but I don't know of any mages.
Would Valymr know anybody?
Would Valymr know anybody?
Let me have a look at this handout sheet and the list of names, people we've got. Would that cleric have the spell? I have known an cleric in my time.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. Oh Jesus! It was almost a 19. 14.
You would tend to know that Identify tends to be performed by people like Zep, wizards, perhaps bards, not clerics. Unless I think they're clerics of knowledge, but that's just GM notes, I think. But yeah, no, it's not a cleric spell.
Okay. Okay, well first I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Sure.
And I'm thinking maybe looking at the painting, specifically looking at its school of magic as well.
Illusion.
It's an illusion spell.
You get illusory magic mainly.
Is it a good idea to cast a spell magic on the painting? Illusion. Can I touch the blank space?
Sure you can.
I'm going to touch it.
I'm going to touch it? Okay. Your hand goes through.
Going to go back to the guard and say, screw that. Go to. I know Ruby was going to go back to the Magister's place.
You know where Ruby's going.
Go to the Magister's lab, collect the Magister and Ruby Sunderstar, bring them here immediately. It is of utmost importance.
He's like nodding.
At the absolute speed.
Absolute
sprint.
He drops his spear and runs.
Best. Okay.
Yeah.
And he never arrives.
I am gonna go back to the. Is there anything else that I found in the area, in the room, in the anything?
Are you going to continue investigating the room?
While I wait for Ruby, yes.
Sure. Yes. After a long time looking around, you do find something of note. You find a key that looks really out of place. It's covered in it's like an old brass key, or maybe wrought iron, rusty kind of stained metal. There's even a little bit of moss that is like kind of on the handle slightly, and it's surrounded by dirt on an otherwise clean fireplace in up near the bed.
I still have detect magic on. Is it magical?
No.
Is there anything else in this room that is pinging magic as well?
Yes, there are various wards, and like the lights in here are kind of also magical. You also, with your vision, you do see a secret entrance, like one of the tunnels.
Yeah.
Tunnel entrances into here. There's nothing like... No, everything else seems to be mundane. Nothing that triggers to you to being not normal for that room.
I'm going to pick up the key in a strip of cloth, wrap it up, and then pocket it.
There's probably like a handkerchief on, like near the bedside that you could probably grab.
Yeah. Ladies' chambers, there's probably cloth bits everywhere.
Putting it on a throw pillow.
Yeah, that's the one. And you said the key was or wasn't magical, sorry?
Wasn't, but very old.
Okay, so it's probably not the key to open the secret door doodad into the tunnel
doodad. No. This looks like it's sized for a door, but more like a gate.
Okay.
Or padlock. There is a shape in like the end of the key.
What is as in like the bit that you hold?
So yeah, it's like a diamond. And inside there's like sharp metal pattern. Kind of maze-like. With a set of hands in the center.
That's the hands thing is very nully.
Quite possibly.
Null's whole thing is two hands grasping like a heart, right?
Think so.
Would I recognize it as that? Can I make an religionist check?
Make a religion
roll?
check.
$17.
Whilst it's not like the exact holy symbol for Null, there is a slight. It also doesn't look like the design of the hands is like skeletal. Directly. That being said, it's like one of those things of this could easily be a way of masking the fact that it's Nullian. If you pick up what I put down.
Yes, yeah.
It's like one of those things of those who would be in the know would know.
I can hide it in plain sight. It's a dog whistle key.
Yeah. Yeah, no, his holy symbol is skeletal hands holding a gemstone eye.
An eye, not a heart. Okay. Alright. Is there anything on the guards' bodies? Like, their weapons were in the bath.
Yep, two long
I'll
swords
retrieve
in the
them
bath.
as well and put them again next to the bodies, like a little bit of ways.
Sure.
And were these weapons the weapons that they'd be like, I have a spear, I'm standing guard, or are these like drawn swords?
You would say, because there's signs of a struggle in this room, you'd say they drew swords. There's like also like some like the pillows and stuff have been cut, like where they've like lunged and missed kind of thing. Valymr as well. Now that you've put the heads next to the bodies are bleeding.
Okay.
About this time, by the way, Ruby, a guard rushes in to the chamber that you and Uzador are in, and just Lady Sunderstar, High Magister Uzador, the purple one is requesting you at the Palace of the Lady. He says it's urgent.
They probably still just got done with their conversation of looking like, oh shit.
You're both like looking at each other like wide-eyed, like revelation, and then this guard just kind of cuts in.
Okay. Shall we?
He just starts sprinting back. So.
And as she's walking, she's gonna let Breton.
Sure.
Valymr just called us for an emergency at the Palace of the Lady. How goes your warding?
I'm surprised you still have spell slots for this.
I used Sorcerer Punch to get them back.
She did.
I guess there's the next question. Are the... No, I guess not. All right. I would not have a chance to start. This is, if depending on the time frame, this would be before I've had a chance to start setting up the alarms.
You're probably about halfway through your alarms at this point, because they took longer to get to where they were going than you did.
Well, I also prioritized saving the alarms until at the end of the 4-hour period.
That's true, but they're kind of getting relatively close, kind of being amorphous here, just because I don't want to exclude you fully from the scene. So you'd be close to the alarms time then, put it that way.
It's just okay. All right, I'll stop what I'm doing here.
So are you not continuing with the alarms?
They seem like they think it's really important that I be there, so I guess he won't put the alarms up.
Valymr called an emergency.
I will say, because of the time frame, I will let you have gotten a few of the alarms down if you want to. Have some criticals, because you did some very good work there. Like, you could do them as you were leaving, kind of thing.
It takes... What would it take? It would take me... It would take longer to maneuver through the tunnels than it would to set up the alarms itself.
Exactly.
Then they're just gonna have to wait for Breton to show up, because he's gonna finish putting the alarms up before he makes his way over there.
Very much makes sense. You do so. So I would say Ruby and Uzador arrive before. Valymr, was there anything you wanted to do before they got there?
Other than investigating, I don't really have the spells to do much else.
You don't find much more in your investigations. So Ruby and Uzador appear at the Palace of the Lady, and you also see the crime scene now.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, to explain what happened, those heads were in that bath. Before the heads were put closer to the bodies, there was no blood at all. It was just water. Like, decapitated, no blood. Head moves close to the body, blood. Very strange, I know, whatever. That's not the interesting bit, though. What do you see when you look at that painting there on the wall? I'm asking to both of them.
You just see a frame and then pure grey.
Caught in a storm?
Ruby, put on your Gem of Seeing thing.
I can't. Out of charges.
That's fun. Well, you can see I've got the blindfold on. I see... Fuck it, minor illusion, and I'll show exactly what I see.
Oh.
I see this. And it's an illusion. And I put my hand through the painting.
Like, there's a tunnel?
It seemed, well, I mean, I'm going to put my head through.
Okay. Valymr, you're pulled all the way through.
I thought that might happen, but whatever.
Um,
At least I wasn't alone when I went through.
Valymr
That's
went
mostly
through.
what I asked people
You
to come
see
for.
Valymr go through the wall.
Go, go.
Zedaar like looks and goes, "That was not there before."
Andrew, maintain guard here. If the High Captain comes, say where we've been. Apparently we have something to investigate.
Well, Breton, you're just in time. The purple one just went through the wall.
Yeah, Magister, please tell the king what you and I discussed.
Yes, I will do so.
If anybody needs to be informed about what's going on, he ought to know it's his wife. All right,
Good luck.
let's go.
Okay. You go through. You all three going through? Valymr. For Valymr and Valymr alone, I'm going to need a wisdom saving throw as you are plunged underwater.
Oh no! Oh no!
I choose to fail. No.
That's an immediate problem for other reasons as well.
At disadvantage. Breton will get onto the fact that you're in full plate in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
At disadvantage, you said. Okay.
Oh yeah. Because there is no light and you're blind.
25.
There's no light. And
He's blind. It doesn't matter if there's no light.
everything. Well, I was gonna say, and your blind sight is not feeling anything. But you luckily and like you're not. What armor are you in?
Mithril breastplate.
Oh, mithril breastplate. Yeah, no, you're fine. You do feel yourself begin to be pulled upwards.
Hood up as well so I can breathe.
Oh, cloak of the manta ray. You're like, you two come through. You can now see and hear slightly more because glowing Breton. But Breton, as you sink to the bottom of what feels to be like a pool of water. Very dark. I'm gonna need an
Underwater sigh as Brett now has to fight against this to swim up to the surface.
Yes. Breton, give me an athletics, please, as you begin to power swim.
So depending on how high it is, could I just like try and jump? But no, jumping doesn't work super well underwater.
None of you can see the break
surface.
point, the surface point of this water.
It's a 28.
28. You do start just like it is like trying to swim through custard, but you are making your way what you think is up. You know, to be fair, you know it's up because you hit a floor. You're probably the only one who does.
There is gravity.
Typically, when you sink, the opposite direction is the smart way to go.
Exactly. You start going that's opposite direction. All of you, after about a minute and a half, it's faster for Mr. Manta Ray who can breathe.
But also, he can't swim. So.
No, true. So
I mean,
actually,
the cloak lets you swim, so
lets you swim. So it's you are doggy paddling, and then the cloak is just going. Oh, for Christ's sake!
I'm not swimming. It is.
Yeah, exactly.
Ruby's fine. She can swim, and she's not that dirt for the water. She's just not casting anything.
Yeah.
Aren't you also in moderately heavy armor?
Mithril breastplate.
I don't remember you getting mithril, but sure.
You gave it to me.
I don't remember that either, but
Oh yeah, you're not in a mithril breastplate, Valymr, aren't you?
Oh no, I'm in adamantine.
Yeah,
I'm in adamantine, not mithril. My bad.
Yeah, it's mithril breastplate +1 for me.
Yeah, well, I knew someone had a mithril one in the past.
Yeah, I can't be crit. So it's adamantine.
But also you have a cloak of the manta ray, so you're fine. Eventually, after about a minute of swimming, you breach a surface in what smells like a mildewy, stagnant room.
I'll cast light.
You looking around.
I am the light.
Yeah, the Breton's glowing, so you can see.
Is he brighter than my light?
Yes.
It would be the same as a dancing lights level of light.
So no, but whatever.
I believe. But yeah, so around you see almost like a ruined chamber. Really old stone, mix of like cave and mason's stone.
Does
There
it match
is-
the key? Similar vibes, similar like
Yeah,
that
not
mossy
sure.
kind of.
You don't you do see some moss. Whether it's the same moss, you might need a nature check if you got close. You do also see a hooded statue with a very, very gaunt face of like a woman, but like kind of mid pose of like scream, but like and breached hands from like a prayer position. So it's like they would be, but they're like, and it's probably about a 10-foot statue, and it's like off kilter, fallen half off its pedestal, like hanging over the water that you've just breached in front of.
Can I get out of the water and into the room?
You can perch on you can kind of climb. You're half climbing the wall, but you can get up and out of the water. There's like a little bit of a. This is kind of feels more like a floor has fallen through.
Gonna be a real fucking issue when I want to get back into the real world.
So this is a room. Can we see how big the room is, or
How far is your lit vision? Probably just
I
about.
was gonna say
You
because
see-
Valymr can see 120 feet.
Yeah, I think you could probably wall to wall this room. It's probably about a 60-foot room chamber. It looks like it was multiple rooms, but some of the walls have fallen, etc. And the floor has clearly gone through for half of it. And eventually you do get to an area where there's more floor.
So what plane are we on now? This doesn't feel like the prime material.
Not sure. Might not be another plane. Might be a pocket dimension.
It also might be part of the castle. Planar portals, I don't think you can just make one without nobody noticing. Either way.
I also thought the keep was supposed to be warded against things like this.
Yes. I think this is somewhere inside the castle. Before we go on, I'm going to update everybody on what Ruby discovered.
All of you can take a quick 2 minutes to exposition dump each other.
Yeah.
And dry off.
And dry off.
Yes, it's the Guardians, the Aeon, whatever they're called.
Astral pariahs.
Sure, the Astral Pariahs. At least
That's
something akin to their magic. Which explains why nobody can get through with scrying. I thought about teleporting in, but that seemed like a very dangerous prospect.
I think somewhere around. If I bring my memory back to. Wait, was I in that room? Yeah, I was in the room where the other murders took place. I wasn't. In the room where the bodies were stored, with a
Yes.
cupboard.
Yes.
There were any paintings there?
No.
Okay.
No. This was like a 10-foot cupboard. The whole back wall, however, was one of the secret entrances. But it was like wall-to-wall shelves and like buckets and mops and corpses.
Did I see any paintings when I was traveling around in the underground tunnels?
No, those walls were bare. Barely even like a sconce for a torch.
Okay. I have a feeling we'll
no.
find the queen.
I take that
around in
back.
here.
I take that back. There was probably some paintings on bits of like where the doorways would have been, so that so that when they were open, they still look like a part of the standard wall. In the same way that like the wine rack moved on one of them, there was more like a little bit on the other side, kind of thing.
Right.
I would say you probably saw some paintings, but it wasn't like the walls were lined with paintings.
Does that statue in the middle resemble the queen at all?
No. This is a old statue, and you're not sure what of. It kind of looks human, but it's not quite.
Would my detect magic still be up?
You'd be coming towards the end of it, but I'd say who you are.
Is anything glowing in the vicinity looking...
No.
Obviously, Breton is, but I mean, like,
Yeah, no,
glowing
nothing out of the
magic.
norm.
Okay.
The statue itself. This is the question that every good adventurer always asks when you come across a statue. What is the detailing on the statue? Because this is a very unusual position for a statue to be carved in. Not to mention, it also seems like the statue is in the midst of falling over on the pedestal it's been set on.
It's more like it's fallen off of the pedestal. It's like actual just damage.
Mm-hmm.
Where like there's probably some wall shift or whatever has happened, and it's cracked slightly, but hasn't fully fallen. Yeah, so it is what seems to be the visage of a woman in like standard clothing, but with like a long half shawl robe over the top half that opens into a hood, and then you have like dripped hair, almost like it's wet, and then like a very gaunt face, like sunken features, and then hands that look like they were in prayer that have now come apart.
Mm. Is it? I'm not even sure if this is a woman or not. Is this? Is there any religious iconography about this? Like, is this something that might be associated with a saint or?
Make a religion check. It's going to be a very high DC though.
Mm-hmm. 21.
At first, no. But then something springs slightly to mind. As you look slightly more at the statue, you spend some time looking at it. In the sleeves of the robe, imprinted. They've worn away with like the over the years. They're not, the markings aren't as clear. But it's the remnants of 5 little stars. And a similar pattern to one you saw on a holy symbol recently.
That was depending on how recently we're talking, the most recent one would have been the one of the Lady Nardathel herself.
Correct.
The face. How tall is the statue? Like, is it human proportions or is it larger than human proportions?
Oh, larger. I said it's about a 10-foot statue.
10 foot tall. Okay, that answers something into that.
Are there any doors on the outside of this room?
There would be one out from what you can see that looks to be like a door.
Can I go and investigate it?
Sure. Roll an investigation.
Does it have a... Okay.
Did you mean to just say that as in you want to go look at it?
Yeah, does it have a handle? What does it look like? Is it made of wood, stone?
It's
What's
like old wood. Like you feel like if you touch this door, it's just gonna fall down.
Right. I'm gonna touch it. It falls down.
It doesn't, but you feel like it's not locked. Or at least if it's locked, you could essentially lift it out of its lock.
And if it's not locked, you just push your hand through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly sturdier than it first looked, actually. You don't think it would just crumble by moving it, so it's open and closable, but...
I would like to open the door.
Sure. Seems to be the remnants of a hallway.
How long is the hallway?
Further than your vision.
Are there doors on either side of it?
There are doorways. If those doors are clear, though, it's unconfirmed without going and looking properly. You seem to be at the end of a hall.
Ruby, you know what this is reminding me of?
A crypt?
No, I was going to say that where we found Johanna, you know, when we were in...
She was in
Yeah,
he was in a cube.
He was in a cube.
Yeah, in a cube, but it is a pocket dimension all the same.
I don't know for certain if we're in a pocket dimension, Valymr. I think we're looking around. This looks like part of a crypt. Or at least beneath the sept. Maybe.
Only one way to say for certain.
Is there anything else to look around in this room, or should we go through the corridor and see what we can find out there? I'm not saying it reminds me exactly of it, but I'm getting vibes kind of way. Like I'm reminded of it.
I'm not feeling it, but... Either way, no way out but up. And I'm not swimming again. I don't think Valymr will willingly go back into that water.
Correct.
Yeah, so this room, as you look around the masonry, and this almost seems like it was like some sort of remnants of like a bathhouse room. Is there a bathhouse in... There is one in the castles. It's below the summer garden.
None of us has gone there, so we can't see if it looks the same, but older.
No, if it was the same, the summer gardens would be above it. We'd be able to see them.
What does it look like when we look up from the room with the statue?
If you look up, there's a ceiling.
Okay, how high?
10 foot.
Okay.
Like... At least 10 feet, because the statue is 10 feet tall.
Yes, it's gonna be about 15.
It's just like, yeah, there's a 10-foot tall statue in a room with an 8-foot tall ceiling. I know I fell over.
Sorry, sorry, I had to break camera. I was just, my mum's at a quiz right now because my family do a quiz on a Monday night that I used to go to with them, and I just got a Game of Thrones question from them, and none of what they're asking is kind of making sense. They're kind of giving me help. They go, who plays Stark in Game of Thrones? I was like, which Stark? There's about 7.
That's kind of a big question.
There's about 7 of them, and then she goes, Jon, and we go, there's not a Jon Stark. Do you mean Jon Snow? If so, I can tell you who that is, but.
Kit Harington, but he's not a Stark.
Yeah, exactly. There's technically Aegon.
So everything about that question was wrong.
Technically wrong, which is why I wanted to bring it up. Which is fantastic. The clue that I got given. Anyway. Yeah.
There are no windows, no outward looking, no other portions of egress or egress other than this one door to this hallway.
Yeah, this
How
one door.
How does air feel in here?
Mildew. Stale.
Stale?
Horrible.
Yeah. Which
I
gives the
think-
impression we are underground, which
Underground.
means that we are very much not in the bathhouse of the actual outside castle.
No, I think we're in the crypt beneath the sept.
But that's hard to say. I mean, again, there's a hallway. The only thing left to do, I believe, is
No way out but up.
hallway.
Give me a
Oh,
perception
it
check,
is.
all of you.
Oh shit.
Do I get any
Nope.
changes based on my
Nope.
vision? On?
Natural fucking one.
17.
Valymr,
Rolling, sorry.
it's actually harder for you, but you hear it because you step on it. Find a puddle.
Oh, I just stepped in poop.
No, a puddle.
14.
I
A
can see
puddle.
everything within 10 feet of myself. It's a shame that everything we're looking for is beyond 10 feet.
Right, but I got the blind sight, you know, it's kind of puddle of it. Okay, I'm going to bend down, stick my fingers in the puddle and smell it. Is it bathwater?
No. It still smells.
It still smells.
It's there,
Almost
It's-
went southern there for a second, Mitch.
Well,
Almost.
then, I mean, it kind of.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn, smells stale. Is what I was going. Smells stale. It's like the water that you just left.
It's not your dinner time. Stop pimping me. Get out of here. Come on. Get.
Okay. Somebody's maybe been down this tunnel while wet recently. Can I see footsteps?
Yeah, you see a footprint in the puddle. Yeah.
Is it my footprint?
No, these are ahead of you.
Okay.
You
So I'm
stood
just,
in it.
I'm just looking at dog head poking behind door, just
Yeah,
watching.
Slightly out of vision.
She wants dinner, and it's about half an hour before her dinner time, so she's pimping me.
Mhm.
All right. I guess follow the tunnel. When do we come across the first doorway?
The first doorway, it's probably about 30 foot down, and it's collapsed in.
Okay. Is there any writings on the walls? Any markings on the walls? Anything that isn't just plain ass wall?
Not at the moment. A little bit of
Okay, I
moss
guess.
here and there.
I guess continue. And keep my eyes on the footprints as well. Like, if they suddenly stop at a place where it's kind of weird for it to stop, then I'll stop there too.
The footsteps continue, but the next door you come to on the right is open. There's no door left in there, but you peer into the room and you see the remainders of what looks to be a fireplace.
Is there anything else in the room?
and
Just a
like-
fireplace.
It's just you see there's like a plank of wood that might have been broken from furniture, but there seems to just be like the alcove for a fireplace.
Can I
From what you can
quickly
see.
go and check if the fireplace, like if there's embers there or whatever, if it's warm or if it's just as...
No, you can see from here there's no embers or anything. It's like one of those things of when you see. Have you ever walked through a ruined castle? There's plenty of them in the UK. I'm sure you have. You know when
Yeah.
you just go into this was an old thingy room. There's the fireplace. Kind of. That's what you get. Like
Okay.
it's just you see a hole in the wall that would be a fireplace, but it has not. You get the impression that none of this has been used in generations, perhaps.
Okay. All right. Does the footsteps go in here or do they continue on?
No, they continue on.
Okay. Follow the footsteps then.
You continue on. You come to a crossroads section. There is a left and a right turn, and a doorway ahead of you.
Where does it look like the footsteps have gone?
They seem to have dried out slightly.
Which of the two
guess-
doors seem like they may have been open more recently?
So it's two pathways and one door.
Oh, there's no doors. Okay.
Yes.
Guess check the door first.
The handle is wet.
I think the doorway is probably the good idea. I will turn the handle.
You do so. Cool.
That would tell you a lot too. When you just look at the door, like, even in medieval times, there would have been modern innovations for like door handles. Like, how old a door handle are we talking about here?
It's a metal latch key like set in the wood, so old.
Mm-hmm. Like, could we ballpark what time period? I mean, Breton's a smith. Like, presumably he would have studied things like
Make me a
this.
history check.
Valymr wouldn't know because Underdark door handle is very different.
9.
Probably 500 years, maybe
We're
more.
rolling like shit today.
I've had some good ones and some not so good ones. So the not so good ones are all the investigation ones.
500 years, maybe more.
So, I mean, that tells us this place has been around for about 500 years minimum. So that's
Still,
That's a
decent
start.
information.
yeah.
Does the door open with the turning of the
It
latch?
does. And you can all smell this. A putrid smell fills the air. Like, it's almost like muddy, swampy, wet.
I swear, if we came all this way just to encounter another excremental,
Bring back the classics.
You're in Retbury. You can never leave.
we're actually just on. This is just a flooded section of like what was the establishing keep of Retbury. It all ends where it began.
It all begins on the island.
This
No.
entire campaign has taken place on the island. Just
You open it.
Different
and-
illusion.
It turns out this has all been lost. We never left the island.
Oh my god, that would be the worst thing for me to pull. Yeah, it just you all wake up from the sacks being pulled off your heads again at the beginning.
It's like it's just like as we're going to a moment, like our heads get a little fuzzy, we wake up, we still have the fucking like glyphs of warding on our forearms. They were never removed.
Blackjack just slaps you awake like, now you're gonna tell me what's inside the cube, and that's the end. Christ.
fuck. I already killed you though.
They'll do it all again. Salty run back.
So you open up, and in front of you is a sarcophagus in an open square chamber, the lid of which seems to be firmly on.
Is the sarcophagus like decorated with like the image of a person?
It seems
Like, you
that
know, them
way.
old
Yeah,
English
it
ones.
seems that way, but you're too far away to see it.
Is there anything that
it's,
my
like,
true
slightly-
sight is picking up?
It's slightly up on. No, not really. It's slightly up on like steps. Very much in the center of this room.
I will cautiously progress forwards.
Are you doing so stealthily?
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like a stealth check?
Hell yeah. We're going stealthily.
Haha! 10.
10? Okay. You creep your way in. You get to the bottom step for this altar, and you see it a little bit better now. It seems to be the top glyph carving on the top of the sarcophagi. Seems to be that of a lady, very similar dress to the statue that you saw. But not horrific in face.
Could this literally be the tomb of this Saint Nardathel?
There's no inscription. There's no.
What does history say about what happened to her? Did she
Um,
disappear? Did she die of old age? Did
give me a
she?
history check. I'd
It's
say
not
at
part of my
advantage.
history,
You
so,
you would have been
At
trained in
advantage.
something.
So it's either a 20 or a 20. So a 20 or a 20. Take your choice.
So, as far as anyone's aware, that Nardathel herself is entombed in the sept above you, or what, like wherever
Above you, around you,
wherever
approximately
wherever
a
you were.
hallway, a weird room, and a teleporting portal.
that away.
I
That
go,
far
yeah.
away. Yeah. Wibbly wobbly, spacey wacy. Yes. She is apparently in the center. She, as far as everyone knows, she is in the sept and was laid to rest there. Essentially 400 years after the establishment of the plains of the Nardathel. She was an elf. She lived long.
Yeah.
Way outlived even her great grandchildren. Well, no,
There's water
she
on the
lived
handle
the
to
time
the
of
room.
her grandchildren.
There's water to the handle of the room. The footsteps are drying out. Is there any shimmers of water stains or anything like dripping like on the sarcophagus itself?
Yes.
Yes.
Any handprints?
Hard to say. But there seems to be water like seeping from the edges of the sarcophagus.
Detect magic, as I'm guessing, is since Valymr was at the end of it before.
Mm-hmm.
I can throw another one on. I have the spell, so I'll do another detect magic.
Okay, because knowing if this is magically or trapped before I open it is going to be a big deal.
Hmm. I'm not sure I want to make a deal with a matron of ravens right now.
Well,
Yeah.
good, because you're not the one who's going to be opening it.
Detect magic doesn't seem to.
Nor was the person who made the deal.
Detect magic,
magic.
doesn't flicker anything in here.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem magical, and I'm not strong enough.
This is an interment place as far as we know. So this is not just going to be like show fall clatter. It's going to be very ginger, like slow, like scraping the top of it to one side and the bottom to the other.
Give me an athletics, please.
Athletics. I'm typically really good at these. And I continue to be so. 31.
As you grab it and you begin to shift it, it moves weirdly easily.
Yeah, it's like, oh well,
Where it's
didn't
like,
expect that.
You feel like as you shift it, you feel as like the actual like lip area of the thing. There's like a layer of algae that's like damp is on the underside and has made it slip easier. And actually, as you look at it, like the top of the sarcophagus, the corners are like kind of chipped slightly where it keeps coming off. Because as you open it, you reveals just complete black water. Right to the brim of the sarcophagus. Algae growing around the top, like sort of where the air gap would be, partially, like ever so slivery, which made it really slide up. But you cannot see through this water. And Valymr, I say that to you as well. You cannot see through this water.
You cannot truly see through this water.
What the fuck?
And it is at this moment, Breton, that your weapon of warning begins to shimmer.
I was going to make an attempt to divine sense, but if the weapon of warning is going to trigger that, that's fine too.
As a hand bursts from the water. And we're going to end our session there because I do not have this map ready. And we've only got 15 minutes left for this session. So,
Tune in next week where, depending on what happens with this hand, you might see the hand burst from the water and then Breton attempt to remove whatever is attached to this hand also from the water.
You see like the extended hand of like a once humanoid feminine arm launch out.
Just rapidly reclose the sarcophagus. We keep the hand.
It becomes a comedy skit where you just slam it on the hand. The hand
Nope,
just
nope. But yeah, let's roll initiative now, guys.
We've actually done that before. The hand of the.
Well, the same with you guys and trapping hands and things.
Need a hand.
Initiative.
Yeah.
Everybody gets the bonus because
Ain't gonna matter. I rolled.
they're within range of Breton. Breton gets advantage because he gets advantage, so Breton gets a 24.
What's the bonus?
Sweet.
Well, you've got a plus 12, so I think the bonus is already applied.
Well, the 5 is from my alert.
Yeah, so where are you getting... There's no way you have plus 7 dex.
All I have is plus 5 to initiative. Or unless it's...
Yeah,
your initiative there was D20 plus 12.
Oh, it's plus 7 by default, so plus 2. Oh, okay, so... Where did the plus... Oh, so alert... Okay, I'm sorry. Subtract 5 from my initiative. I'll be...
No, I think you were already adding Breton's aura, which is the plus 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
I think you guys are
Cool.
fine.
So I got a 9.
Nice. Okay, so with a 21, a 24, and a 4 or 9, we will jump into initiative next time and kick off a combat. But before then, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week. Tune in tomorrow for the first episode of a new show. We have been the Component Cast with another episode of the Elendor Chronicles. I've been joined by Lord Lambert, DM Lake, and Bethany Rose. I've been Midgeman, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.
It was Ruby today.
Toodaloo.